Let's see what happens if we force Keishel to second base. I'm curious. So Gurriel's now in left. Larnock still. Collins still. Keishel at second. It makes the defense a little better. Conforto's an okay right fielder. He's better in left. I see why I forced him to left field. Gurriel's an all right left fielder as well. I wish he could play right field. But yeah, we've got a young pitching staff that for sure needs some help. And I don't necessarily think our team defense is going to give them much help. I think we're going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league, unfortunately. But that's the sacrifice you make for an offense that I certainly hope would be productive. But we're not going to know until we start this season. Let's see how this team simulates and just how rough things get. We start with an opening day win against the St. Louis Cardinals. And Keishel breaks his hand 1 game into the season. All the good it did us forcing him to second base. He is now on the 10-day IL. So we're now down Keishel, and we're also down Matt Wallner, who is supposed to be our best hitter. We still have Peyton Eels, and Austin Martin is now. Well, Austin Martin's probably going to come back to starting again. I doubt Peyton Eels is going to actually be in the lineup because we still have Brooks Lee and Isaac Collins. I mean, it's not a bad infield of Austin Martin, Brooks Lee, and Isaac Collins. It could be worse. Peyton Eels backing up, but I don't think we're going to bring up a spare hitter. I think I'm a lot more likely to bring up a pitcher here. And you know what? We got to sort out AAA. I'm going to do that real quick. They've already played 2 games. I think we'll just call Bailey Ober back up. That's the most major league guys. Got a major league salary, most certainly. Dustin May also would have been a candidate. We've got a few guys in the minors down here who would fit perfectly well on a major league roster. Simeon Woods Richardson, Mark Leiter Jr., Luis Medina, David Festa, Connor Prelip. There's plenty of guys we can call up if we want to. We just have way too many players in AAA. I think we have 50 players in the AAA team. Yeah, we do. Let's get rid of some guys from AAA real quick before we move on. We have 4 catchers in AAA. They're all pretty good, too. Diego Carchaya. I mean, Diego Carchaya, I don't even see him getting starting minutes, so he's got to go down to AA, unfortunately, even if he should. Probably deserves to be in AAA, but he'll probably tear up AA. Jorge Barrosa's a really good player to be in AA, but I'm going to send him to AA anyway. Trey Cabbage, I'll just cut. Kyler Fedko, I've never heard of you. Carson McCusker, I've also never heard of you. That does it for clearing out the offensive side now. Seeing which pitchers we can get rid of. Get out of here. Brooks Kriske is 32. Kyle Funderburk is pretty old. Cody Funderburk, rather. Joe Piamps is old, but he's okay. Moises Chase can go down to AA. Still 21 players. Marco Raya can go down to AA as well. Andrew Morris. Let's put Andrew Morris in high A. I'm feeling creative. Ian Anderson's just painfully mid. We can release him. And now it's 18 players. That's not too bad. Trent Baker is incredibly average. We'll release him as well. And that'll do it. Let's see how big our AA roster is still. Down to 34 players in St. Paul. Still have 40 players in AA. So, yeah, let's do some cleanup in AA as well. I mean, yeah, lots of guys here. Get rid of 3 of these guys, and that should be good. We've got 33 in AA, high A. Also got to be some overaged guys in high A. Man, look at Eduardo Tate already at 19 years old. Oh, is that with the Mighty Muscles, or is this? No, it's the Colonels. It's crazy. But let's go to our bad players. How's Merrick Houston looking? I'm curious. I'm very curious about this guy's development. He could really go either way. It's only 15 players on the. So it's the pitchers that we need to get rid of. So let's just get rid of all these guys, all these 1.5-star guys. I don't know if I've ever had a good 1.5-star player at the major league level and out of the park baseball. I think two stars pretty much the lowest rating you can be. Star ratings are pretty useless in this game, but one of the few things star ratings are useful for is that if somebody is a 1.5 star with 1.5 star potential, they're probably not going to be very good in the major leagues. I mean, they're probably just not even going to have a major league skill set. Their scouting report isn't going to look like a major league player if they're 1.5 stars. And we're 1-3, struggling pretty mightily. The bullpen been particularly roughed up so far, and our defense is our zone rating is 15th already. Our defensive efficiency already in 13th. We're not striking enough people out. We're also not hitting, but you know what? Small sample size. We're 1-4. All right, so we've lost 8-1, 8-1, and then 7-2. 3 games in a row. I'm not liking it. There's a win, 5-2 over Cleveland. Now against the Astros, there's another win. It's another win, 7-2. Gurriel, 4-for-4 with a home run, 2 singles. Bailey Ober coming up for the minor league to get the win. Steven Matz with a save. It's a pretty good game all around. Adolis Garcia, 1-for-4 with an RBI. He now has 3 home runs. The more home runs Adolis Garcia gets, man, the happier I am. If he can have like 20-something home runs at the All-Star break, I'm going to be smiling. It's another win over Houston. Kumar Rocker. 5.2 innings. Scott Barlow gets a hold despite giving up 2 runs. Also gets 3 strikeouts. Interesting outing. Adventurous outing for Scott Barlow. It's a 3-for-4 out of Jesse Winker. Hits from Amaya, Conforto, and Austin Martin. Not bad. We're 5-4. 6-4. 3-2 win over Kansas City. We've got Joe Ryan on the bump against Cole Reagans. This should be a good game. It's a 10-5 L. It's a 7-run fifth for Kansas City. As we might want to go to the bullpen a little quicker there, guys. I want to check our strategy settings. We're now 6-6, 4-1 loss to Kansas City, and we fall to 7-6. I'm not getting great vibes from this team so far, if I'm being totally honest with you. Something about the sudden lapses in production, the tendency towards losing games by large margins does not leave a good feeling in the pit of my stomach. Not steal many bases. We actually run the bases pretty well, but yeah, the entire pitching and defense thing is a big issue. We're getting blown out a lot. Jose Alvarado, 0.00 ERA. It's good to see. Gurriel, 298. Winker up at 370. Larnick at 250. We're losing to the White Sox. We're losing to the White Sox again. See, we have this nasty tendency to give up a lot of runs to the other team and not score a lot of runs ourselves. Now, I'm not an expert, but that's not good. I don't think that's a good trend. And we're now 6-11. I think we're on a 6-game losing streak. Finally, we get an 8-3 win over Atlanta. Jesse Winker is standing on his head, to use a hockey term. 368 with 2 home runs and 13 RBI. Gurriel over 300. The rest of this team is languishing. Garcia particularly. I mean, we predicted it kind of, but he's having a bad year. I need Adolis Garcia to do something, or I'm going to literally command them to stop hitting him cleanup. I'm going to tell the manager to hit him 6th or 7th. Because at some point, you're just hurting yourself having him in the middle of the order if he's going to hit 130 something. Brooks Lee, diagnosis pending. Lovely. So we get a win over the Marlins. Advanced to 9-11. Now we're 9-12, and Brooks Lee sprains his ankle, and he's out for 3 weeks. Lovely. So now Peyton Eel should probably get a chance on the roster, so that's a good thing. Excited to see Peyton Eels, and I'm excited to call up Michael Hellman as well. Very useful and fun utility guy. We'll see who they actually put in the lineup at short. Bro, what? And they do put in Peyton Eels, lefty hitting shortstop. Michael Hellman's going to get plenty of appearances off the bench. Let's see, who in AAA deserves this last roster spot here? Look at Michael Giacone. He has been pretty good. 17 strikeouts in 19 innings. Simeon Woods Richardson is striking out a lot of batters. 25 strikeouts in 21 innings, 1.66 ERA. I think we'll bring Simeon Woods-Richardson back up. He'll have that last roster spot in the bullpen. We lose 10-7 to Miami. Still struggling. Scott Barlow tears his meniscus out for 4 to 5 months, so he's going to go on the 60-day injured list. Where is Scott Barlow? I don't even see him. Maybe he was already on the injured list. I guess that was a I guess his injury got more severe. He aggravated it. Now has to go on the 60-day. As the struggle continues, the 12-6 loss to Cleveland, our pitching is really getting roughed up. I'm going to try to change the pitching strategy here now that we have 14 guys on the pitching staff instead of 13. We're already hooking our pitchers quick, though. That's sort of my problem, but let's see if we can hook our relievers quicker as well. Maybe prefer the lefty-righty matchups a little less because we only have one lefty. And as for the rest of it, I don't really know what I can do. I agree that we're not really a hit-and-run team or a sack-bunt team. We don't really have the guys with speed to steal bases right now. But at some point, I'm just going to up the outfield shifts a couple notches. The outfield depth up a notch. Use infield shifts up a couple notches. Guard lines, just because we have a rough defense. I want to increase the likelihood of guys just being in the right place when the ball is hit. 9-17. 17-9. We enter the game with a 9-17 record and lose the game 9-17. 25 hits, dude. 25 hits. Zebby Matthews, 9 hits over 3 innings, 5 ERA. Bailey Ober's got a 10. Bailey Ober just got himself sent down to the minors. That's what just happened to Bailey Ober. The Bailey Ober experiment is come to a rapid end. That's how much good 70 control can do you in this game if you only have 70 control. 70 control and 70 stamina makes you a good starter in the 1960s. Not right now. Not in Major League Baseball in 2026. The pitcher I'm most curious about in the minor leagues right now is Koyo Iowagi. Koyo Iowagi, side armor, 88-90. Signed him as a minor league free agent out of Japan. He's been interesting, at the very least, in AAA, and he's going to get a shot on the Major League roster. See if give people a sidearm look out of the bullpen. Maybe that'll help. When we get a 3-2 win over the Athletics at home, at least to salvage a game out of that 3-game series. Kumar Rocker, 5.1 innings pitched, and finally some decent bullpen work out of Matz, Fisher, and Alvarado. Fisher and Alvarado have been two of the bright spots in what has otherwise been a pretty rough pitching staff this year. That includes the bullpen. We get a win against Detroit after a 10-2 loss in the first game. We're 11-19. Luke Keeschel ready to come off the injured list. Peyton Eels is only at 189, so he's going to go back down, unfortunately. I know people want to see Peyton Eels do well, but it is what it is. No. Come on now. Luke Keeschel back on the roster. Let's see if we can win this series against Detroit. Yes, sir. 14-4. Trevor Larnach, 2 for 4 with a home run, a double, and a walk. And Aoyagi gets the win in relief. Let's take a look here. Hellman in the leadoff spot, 2 for 6 with 3 RBI. Martin scores 2 runs and a 1 for 4 effort. Adolis Garcia, there we go. Something from Adolis, 3 for 5. I'm sure. Now, he didn't hit a home run, but he definitely produced 4 total bases, I see there. Had 1 double. And Adolis Garcia now has 21 RBI, 6 home runs. Can't have a very good on-base percentage, but his slugging percentage is almost 400. Gurriel up at 328, having a great year. And Trevor Larnach as well, 2 for 4 in that game with 3 RBI. Definitely the player of the game. So some okay power numbers in the middle of our order. Kind of keeping us afloat here. Isaac Collins gets suspended for fighting Clark Schmidt, who is back on the Yankees now. It's a 2-1 loss to the Yankees in the Bronx. Our 20th loss of the season. Robert Gasser versus John Gray here in the second game. It's another 10-2 loss. And we get swept by the Yankees. To the surprise of, I'm sure, very few. And I'm just like, I'm kind of intrigued by the top of this order when I look at it. Isaac Collins is doing a great job getting on base. He's a switch hitter. So, okay, fine. You can have him lead off. Trevor Larnach in the 2-hole is kind of interesting. Luke Keeschel is not producing, so I don't know why he would be hitting third. I'm gonna put Lourdes Gurriel third. The 45 grade I be damned. I just don't care. I want the guy with the best offensive numbers hitting third, please, and they just don't do it. And oh wait, I put him in third base. I'm a dumbass. I'm an idiot. It's like 2 in the morning. There, third in the order, not third base. Hear the gears in my brain. Hear the gears in my brain spinning as I try to manage this baseball team, and it puts Trevor Larnach third. It doesn't put. It doesn't put Gurriel anywhere now. Gurriel just isn't in the lineup. That's okay. All right, so I'm just not going to do that then. I'm just going to let you do whatever you want because clearly I'm not in charge. All right, you know what? It's putting Trevor Larnach third. It's like, oh, you don't want Keeschel third? All right, cool. I'll put Larnach third instead. Okay, game, cool. Compromise, nice. Negotiating with the game. Negotiating my 3-hitter with the game. I'll take Trevor Larnach. It's just like, why do we have to wait so deep into the order to get some power? 3-1 win behind Joe Ryan. Brooks Lee comes off the aisle. It's a 10-1 loss to Boston. Zebby Matthews, who I spoke so highly of, is getting brutalized. And at a certain point with a 6.62 ERA, you got to wonder how long you hang on. Simeon Woods Richardson, who we brought up, he's had a pretty decent chance. 8-inning sample size, and he's just gotten beat up. So we're going to waive in DFA. And then we're going to get Connor Prelip up out of AAA. We get a win. Whoopsie. Forgot to bring Brooks Lee off. Mick Abel actually has some upside. I don't like to see him be this terrible. Got a 7 ERA in 17 innings, so he needs to be sent back down, accumulating some negative WARs. Skills are starting to go a little bit, so send him down to AAA, and we'll just go with 13 hitters on the offensive side of the ball. 13 hitters, 13 pitchers. And Brooks Lee is going to return to catcher. And I don't know why Lourdes Gurriel is not starting. It's really kind of infuriating me. It's got Isaac Collins in left field. I just can't pretend. All right, you know what, man? Isaac Collins, you're the third baseman. Forced. And Lourdes Gurriel, you're the left fielder. I will have my team the way that I want it, even if we are well below 500. There we go. Now Gurriel is in left. Isaac Collins is in third. I would really like Isaac Collins leading off no matter what, but whatever. I just don't understand Isaac Collins hitting third. I really can't lie to you. I really don't like him hitting third. I'd rather he just lead off no matter what. Can I have a different lineup against righties, please? There we go. I mean, Luke Keeschel hitting third is the worst thing ever. Can I get Lourdes Gurriel in the 3-hole, please? Please, please, please. Give me what I'm asking for. Thank you very much. It hits Keeschel second, which is, I mean, I'm still not quite there. I really would like Larnach second over him, but you know what? Keeschel apparently has some power. We haven't seen it so far this year, but he does only have 36 at-bats, which is kind of surprising. We get a win against Boston. Did we manage to take that series? I kind of doubt it. I think we lost 2 of 3. I think we lost 2 of 3. What the hell? Yeah, we did. Okay. We took 2 of 3 from Boston. It was that 10-1 loss that made me think that we did. San Francisco, 8-3 win, 5-1 loss, and an 8-4 loss. We dropped the series after taking the first game. I think I'm going to put a claim on Nick Mears here from the Milwaukee Brewers, taking more cast-offs from the Brewers, but he's got an all right arm. He's somebody that I think we could move on eventually for some prospects or any other kind of help. And Nick Mears is now a member of our organization. So let's see. There's probably one pitcher who's having a pretty rough time we can send down there. The Iowagi experiment has not really been that successful. He's getting unlucky with the BABIP. He's actually striking a decent amount of dudes out. He's only got one walk. But he's given up a lot of hits, man. He's giving up hard contact, even despite that sort of being supposed to be his strength. And ultimately, he's just an innings eater, so it's not a big deal to send him down. He's got options. And we'll put Nick Mears on the rotation, and hopefully that's a nice little improvement. And Simeon Woods Richardson can go to AAA as well. Two more against Boston after winning game one. We're still only 8 games below 500. We haven't completely collapsed yet. There's a 7-0 win against the Red Sox. It's a 3-hitter from Kumar Rocker, Nick Mears, and Dylan Lesko, who has a 6.3 ERA, the Rule 5 pick. Lesko, in case you were wondering. Conforto, 2 for 3 out of the 9-hole. 2 RBI each for Collins, Garcia, and Larnach. And I just don't know what to think. One of the most interesting things I'm looking at this whole season, especially so far, has been Adolis Garcia's production. And just like, is he producing? I don't think that teams, if I put him on the trade block, are going to really see this as production. The 6 home runs, the 24 RBI are cool. They're not going to be able to look past the 249 on base percentage, the 74 OPS plus, or the negative 0.8 WAR. They're just not. I'll believe it when I see it. Patrick Sandoval goes for Boston, and we lose 4-1. Kumar Rocker with a 2.86 ERA has been a nice surprise. The rest of the rotation has been rough. Even Joe Ryan over a 5 ERA. We are 15th in starter ERA and 15th in bullpen ERA. So I said that the pitching was going to be a strong suit, and it's turned out to be the exact opposite, which I don't like because I wouldn't really even necessarily call our offense a strong suit. We're 15th in home runs. Gurriel, Larnach leading the team in home runs with 7, which I feel like really isn't that much. We're over 40 games into the season. There's a win over the Cubs. Steven Matz is whining, so we can trade him at the deadline. That's really all I think about that. We take 2 of 3 from the Cubs. That's nice. Against Detroit, we win game 1. We're only 6 games below 500 now. There's a loss right on cue. And another loss. We scored 2 runs in 2 games after I sing our praises. And we haven't gotten one home run from the middle of our order since I talked about that. The 7-6-7 here from Gurriel, Garcia, Larnach in the middle of the order. Not one home run in those 4 games we just simulated from anybody in the middle of the order. It's worth looking at. And Luke Keeschel, he's got a 322 on base percentage, but he's far from producing for the guy who's supposed to be in the 2-hole. Let's move Trevor Larnach up to the 2-hole. If I have to just completely exercise control over this lineup to, just optimize things, I will. I like the Collins, Larnach, Gurriel trio at the start, then Garcia, Winker, and then you can just sort of bury the less reliable guys down at the bottom of the order. Let's be real about what's going on. Trey Mancini, I'd like to see them give him a few more at bats. He's been, he's been decently effective with the bat in his time up. Feels like something of a threat in the box. There's a win over Kansas City, 8-2. 7-1 defeat. Michael Soroka whining, wants to be in the rotation, but he's having a pretty good year. I guess we could try him in the rotation. He's got a 3 ERA. I guess we could just move Zebby Matthews to the bullpen. Just put him as a reliever. I think Soroka would probably slide into the rotation automatically if we did that. That is correct there. Now Michael Soroka is a starter. I actually think that's the right move. That's why I'm making it. I'm glad the game pointed that out to me that I have Soroka in the bullpen who can be starting games if my rotation is struggling. There's a 3-1 win. We're managing to just hang around a little bit below 500, which is somewhat interesting. 5-7 loss to Tampa. And we get swept by Tampa 3 games in a row. And we also get swept by LA. First year player draft combine. And we're just going to add the obvious best player and best players to our combine list, including Justin LeBron James. LeBron James. All pitchers. Jason DeCaro. Okay, I was about to say he's 22. He's 20. 21. Well, they're not being 22 in the MLB draft. Old man. Get out of here with that old, ancient corpse of a man. 22 years old. Did you bring your fucking walker with you? Did you bring your wheelchair? Did you bring your cane, old man? Need help crossing the street on your way to the fucking draft? Need help finding the podium with your blind old ass 22 getting drafted into the MLB? I mean, you should already be in the major leagues by 20s. If you aren't in the major leagues at 19, you're a scrub. Juan Soto taught us this. If you aren't on the cover of Sports Illustrated at 17, you suck. Bryce Harper taught us this. If you aren't Paul Skeens, if you aren't Jacob Mizorowski, you suck. If you aren't a Aroldis Chapman, you suck. If you aren't a prodigy right off the bat, you're nothing. You're garbage. Look at Brooks Lee with 8 home runs. 214. Some of the batters on this team, man. Some of the slash lines on this team are downright goofy, especially from the guys that we actually managed to get some power out of. Brooks Lee, 214, 265 on base percentage. Jesse Winker with a 388 on base, but Garcia with the Adolis Garcia with the 186, 236, 329 slugging percentage slash line, negative 1.4 WAR. I think at a certain point we have to think about just getting rid of Adolis Garcia and seeing what our alternative options can be. Because like if he's actually going to be hurting the team, then it just is what it is. Gurriel also, I knew it when I picked him up, but he doesn't have a great eye. And Trevor Larnach, also under a 300 on base percentage. There's just too many guys that we lean on for too much offense who have on base percentages under 300. And it's just the truth. It's not really even a casual observation about the team. It's the way that it is. Still just struggling to win series. Lourdes Gurriel, we've almost got a guy up to 10 home runs. Gurriel up at 9. Gurriel's been pretty productive, man, out of everybody. To be real. 11-2 loss to Toronto. 7-3 loss to Toronto. We get swept by Toronto. Now on to Texas. This is a 4-gamer. It's only a 3-gamer. And we are on a long losing streak now. There's a win to Texas. Look at that. Look at what a brutal month of June so far for your Minnesota Twins. Trevor Larnach becomes our first player to 10 home runs. Brooks Lee also up at 10. Luke Keeschel has been god-awful. I think I'm just going to send him to the minor leagues. 0 home runs in 134 plate appearances. We're just going to send him down. I think I'll just count on... I mean, Hellman hasn't been great either. But he can keep a roster spot at least. I think I'll just call Peyton Neals back up. Never mind. That's just if Peyton Neals is down. Yeah, he's hitting 320 in the minors. Let's bring him back up. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna get to the draft before I finish this little recording session that I'm doing. We're gonna start by we're gonna do our due diligence and shop Adolis Garcia and see what we can get because I am tired of this. Wilfred Veras, honestly, like okay, so who are we gonna replace Adolis' center field spot with? Walker Jenkins is not ready. He's a great player, but he's not ready. Emmanuel Rodriguez. You know what? Yeah, we'll do Emmanuel Rodriguez. He's getting on base in the minor leagues. Mickey Gasper hitting 381 in the minors. Sung Chae Chang also hitting 354 in the minors, so he can come up later in the season. But for right now, yeah, Wilfred Veras, this is just what we can get. I just want Adolis Garcia out the door. 75, 60%. Okay, cool. Wilfred Veras, that's not a bad pickup. I mean, I wanted Adolis Garcia to have a breakout season, but at the rate that he's going, the stats he's putting up, he's really just dragging the team down. We are going to be hurting our offensive production. Probably replacing his spot with Rodriguez. But defined production. Rodriguez is probably a lot less likely to give us RBI and home runs, but he's way more likely to get on base. It's got him hitting cleanup, which seems a little bold to me. If we're going to do that, I'm going to take a little bit. I'm going to just take a lot off his running. And what's an unimportant part of his skill set, really? Sadly, I think I am. He's got such a good eye. I'm going to take a little bit off of his eye because we really need his offensive focus really dialed in here. He needs to be focusing on hitting if he's going to hit cleanup for a major league team right out of the minors. So it's a big task for Emmanuel Rodriguez, but ultimately that move was made to get rid of Adolis Garcia, and we all know it. Into the Houston series, already struggling. Not really much pressure on this team right now. And we get swept. Emmanuel Rodriguez looks like he's 1 for 10. Sadly, he is in fact 1 for 10 with 3 strikeouts, so that could have gone better for the youngster, his first series. 1-0 win over Milwaukee. Robert Gasser, Hunter Harvey, and Alvarado. Hunter Harvey actually managed to have an okay year. He had a pretty rough ERA earlier in the year, but now he's settled down to a 3.38. Braden Fisher, a little bit rougher, but he's also pretty young. Hopefully Zebby Matthews can be a little bit more of a success in the bullpen than he was in the rotation. We do have 26 guys. Let's see if we can get the rubber game on this Milwaukee series. Nope, 3-0. There it is. There's the Joe Ryan season-ending Tinderflex and tear. That might be Joe Ryan's last game in a Twins uniform. I know it's very quick to say that, and that's a pretty evil thing to think as soon as he gets injured, but it's just a matter of fact. We're going to have to survive now without our ace. I mean, we're already in a pretty bad spot as a team. Not really even entirely sure which starter we would bring up to replace him, but that was maybe going to be our big deadline move this year, although I think with the 4.80 ERA he had, I might have held off on that until he had a better season because we still have some team control with him, but if he's going to be out for 12 full months, I mean, it is going to be his last year of team control next year, so it might not be his last game. If he comes back early next season, he'll probably pitch for the team at the start of next year up until the trade deadline. I'm sure we could use his help, but it could also be a case of if the team's bad, we've got 5 starters we like, we go through next offseason and get even more starters that we're invested in. We see Joe Ryan come off the injured list and I just go, oh, and just we hit the shot button and he's gone. It's just a matter of fact. So we're not going to probably end up trading Joe Ryan in the exact way that we wanted to trade Joe Ryan. And now when we look at these stats, it certainly seems like we're going to be selling a little low, unfortunately, when we could have sold a lot higher. But it's definitely a devastating injury for Joe Ryan, personally at least. It's just it's not quite as devastating as it would be if we were actually in a competitive spot this year. We're definitely not. Matt Wallner, though, life and death, the yin and the yang, the circle of life. We sacrifice Joe Ryan. We gain back one Matt Wallner. Trey Mancini on a cold streak would be pretty easy to get rid of. But Michael Hellman is just, he can definitely go back to the minors and plays a lot of positions. But, let's be honest, he's a utility guy. Matt Wallner is a cleanup hitter. And we've got to think of somebody here who we actually want up here to fill that rotation spot. I mean, Ryan Yarborough on paper, mid personality, low velocity, not in love with the pitch mix, not in love with the intangibles, extreme fly ball. There's a billion reasons I don't want to call up Ryan Yarborough, but in terms of actual major league intangibles, experience, and stats even, it would be Ryan Yarborough. But you know what? I feel like in that stream of consciousness, I just talked myself out of it. David Festa has never really simulated well at the major league level. Another fly ball pitcher. Simeon Woods Richardson is just, we've already given him a shot this year. It's been rough. Dustin May had a pretty good year in the majors last year. Ground ball, 100 miles an hour. He can be a starter. Let's call him up. Let's give him a chance. Let's see if it can be Dustin May. He's now the 5 starter. And I'm going to be very curious to see how he does. I'm leaning towards not great. But you know what? He deserves a shot. He's got 3+ pitches and great velocity. Apparently he gets lucky with BABIP. Let's see. And the hard times just keep on rolling. Mad at us for not playing 500 ball. Not surprised. We haven't increased attendance. We haven't increased team chemistry. Fan interest is going in the wrong direction. But our international amateur fines. Oh, it says he's also disappointed in that. I said ripe with talent. Like, oh, we're doing a good job in that? No, apparently not. So we're not doing a good job at anything at all. But you know what? Maybe don't blow up the team to start with, and I won't continue blowing up the team. You started me down this path. You started the task. I finished the task. Brooks Lee with a 6-game hitting streak. Still some respectable numbers. Still at 10 home runs. Emmanuel Rodriguez is having a pretty rough go of it, man. Matt Wallner, though, has managed to replace some of that Adolis Garcia production, or rather has just taken over the middle of the lineup from where Adolis Garcia used to be. Who was 0-5 with a 6 ERA? Michael Soroka. He wanted to be in the rotation. Now he's 0-5 with a 6 ERA. So you know what? We're going to let Zebby Matthews back into the rotation. Stop forcing him to be a reliever. We get a 5-4 win over LA. Those have been rare lately. There's another loss. And another 2 of 3 drop to the Angels. Man, it is just tough when you have as unreliable of a rotation as we do and just not really any consistent source of power in the middle of the order. That's all I was really trying to find here, was some kind of consistent middle of the order major league bat we could deal at the deadline. And I mean, Jesse Winker has done a good job. He's got almost a 400 on base percentage, so that's something. But he's still on a 2-year deal. And Gurriel is the guy that I would lean toward trading right now, but he's also on a 2-year deal. So we're going to have our returns for both Winker and Gurriel limited if we trade them this year. But, I mean, man, you'd figure with the state this team is in, we got to get rid of something at the deadline because this is getting pretty brutal. It's another sweep at the hands of the Mets, and mercifully, we come now 30-59. We come now to the amateur draft. We just have not been able to figure out this cleanup spot. And at this point, I'm just... I think I'm struggling so much with this lineup and this order that I'm just going to let the game decide. You know, back when we were more around 500, that order of the top 3 made a lot more sense to me, and now it just seems to matter a lot less, to be honest with you. It just seems to matter a lot less. I almost just want to let the simulation decide what the lineup should be, and hopefully whatever lineup it picks simulates a lot better than this one has. And I mean, yeah, our team stats tell a pretty sad tale. It's a lot more dark spots than bright ones. Trevor Larnach doesn't even he's got okay numbers here, but then you look at it, he doesn't even have a 300 on base percentage. Isaac Collins, one of our better on base guys, still only at a 323 on base percentage. Matt Wallner just got back from injury, but he's struggled. Lourdes Gurriel, maybe been our best player with a slash line of 262, 312, 427, and only an 0.1 WAR. But he's put 11 home runs over the fence, and that's something. Jesse Winker, definitely our best slash line guy, with a 254, 358, 401 for a 118 OPS plus. But Miguel Amaya struggled out of the catcher spot. Emmanuel Rodriguez has struggled mightily despite his good eye since being brought up. Brooks Lee has been a bright spot, but it's another guy, despite the positive OPS plus, despite the positive WAR from his good fielding, also an under 300 on base percentage. And in terms of starting pitching, Zebby Matthews, Robert Glasser, and Michael Soroka have all gotten absolutely beat up. Dustin May over a 6 ERA, and Braden Fisher in the bullpen, the young reliever, also over a 5 ERA. We're dead last in the AL in batting war, second to last in home runs, second to last in runs, third to last in batting average, and we are dead last in runs against, starters ERA, and bullpen ERA, as well as defensive efficiency and zone rating. So this is pretty bleak stuff so far. Let's get some positive news, hopefully, here in the draft. That's not positive news. We only have the 10th overall pick, but you know what, man? This is the MLB draft. You can still get a pretty great player with the 10th overall pick. Let's see what happens. Back for the draft. Kind of a weak draft in terms of super top-end talent. Jason DeCaro, probably the top pitcher. And the top batter would probably be Grady Emerson or Tyler Spangler, rather. I doubt Tyler Spangler falls to our slot, but that's definitely who I would take just based on the initial eye test. Let's see here. In the mock draft, Alex Harrington is projected to go first, high school senior out of Pasadena, California. We're projected to take Kevin Roberts, center fielder. I don't think I am going to take this guy. He doesn't avoid Ks. I don't know. He's definitely an extreme development risk. I agree with the OSA. Good outfield arm. Not a really great pitcher. He pitches as well, but he's not very good at it. 75 power. Potential is really why there's upside. Let's see who's available. Start the draft. Orioles take Grady Emerson. So they made a smart pick. They made the right pick. Medium development risk. I think it's probably should be low, honestly. Rockies with the second pick. They take Alex Harrington. So who is the first pitcher going to be off the board? Not yet. Drew Burress. That seems like a bit of a reach. 1.5 star with a 2.5 star potential. Their scout at the Nationals must think something very different. That might be a really bad mistake there by Washington. Brady Harris. Really solid across the board guy. Really solid across the board player. Maybe the most sure thing out of all the high school guys in the game. Really good glove already, and I think that power potential is going to work out. Tyler Spangler, this is the guy I would have taken. I think this guy might actually be the best player in the draft. It looks like his hit tool is going to develop the best if everything develops right. Really great combination of contact and power that would make him one of the better players in the game, even if he never really develops to be a great fielder. Our division rivals take Justin LeBron James. Kind of a mid shortstop. He could be a major league player one day. I kind of feel like that guy's going to fizzle out at some stage. Zion Rose, this is a really bad pick. I mean, he's a catcher with some pop, with some power potential, but he's better as an outfielder, and for an outfielder, he's got a pretty horrendous bat. The contact isn't going to happen, and he's already 21. That's a pretty bad pick there by Miami. The A's take a Jacob Lombard, another good shortstop. A lot of shortstops getting taken high this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shortstops in the first 8 picks. So I think we know what position we'll be staying away from. Keon Johnson also taken a shortstop by the Braves, and now it's our turn to pick. There's another shortstop. I'm just checking the mock draft to see who's available. Roussel Shepard, it's just more shortstops. Now, we were projected to take Kevin Roberts, who seems pretty good. I'm obviously going to go in and look at the actual draft class and see who I like the most. But, I mean, guys, there hasn't been one pitcher taken yet. You kind of figure you got to take a pitcher here. It looks like we've got Miles Young now. That's a project right there. That guy hasn't developed at all. Yeah, Kevin Roberts would be the best hitter available right now. He's only 17. 6'5" at 17. Yeesh. 6'5", 205. That's a big boy. That is a big, big boy. Kevin Roberts, a very large center fielder. But yeah, the avoid Ks, the contact aren't doing it for me. We'll see what he turns into. He'll probably turn into a great hitter one day. Probably. But I'm thinking pitcher here. A single pitcher has not yet been taken. I was looking at Justin DeCaro. Wants $8 million. OSA doesn't like him quite as much. They don't like the control or the BABIP. I kind of believe my guy more. I don't know if he has really plus stuff. Kind of liking Matthew Sharman. He might be available later. Committed to the University of Georgia. Good control potential. Only a 3-pitch mix, but he's a ground baller. There's not really a great pitcher available. Braden Harris has good stuff, good 3-pitch mix, but I think I am going to take the chance on Justin DeCaro. The 4-pitch mix leads by example. 3/4 arm angle, has a chance to get up to 95. OSA doesn't like him, but that's what I'm paying my scout for, to give me a better scouting report. And I'm going to trust my scout here on Justin DeCaro and take him with the 10th overall pick. And we are going to draft Jason DeCaro for the recommended slot of $6.42 million. We're going to meet that demand. And the 10th pick is Jason DeCaro, the first pitcher off the board in the entire draft. Just curious who the Giants pick. It is Roussel Shepard. It's just going to keep being shortstops off the board, huh? There's Kevin Roberts to the Rays. Here's a catcher. This guy is probably better than the catcher who got taken before. Alex Sosa. I'm really curious to see some of the catchers after that. Pretty rough-looking catcher got taken that high. There's Cameron Fluke, who I thought about taking. Pitcher with good size, probably the best velocity in the draft. 21-year-old college arm might develop a little sooner. That would be a good pick for the Cardinals. They're making me feel like I took the wrong pitcher now that I look at him. I mean, Jason DeCaro is 20. But that just means, I don't know, Jason DeCaro isn't really that good for a 20-year-old pitcher, huh? Now I'm regretting the pick all of a sudden. Because Cameron Fluke, it seems like he's just a little more developed. I don't know. Only a 3-pitch mix. It hasn't really developed yet. Just good velocity. Let's go to our next pick. Stop rambling. And there are quite a few starting pitchers have been taken in the interim. Connor Madison, that's a rough pick there by the Angels. Not big on Dax Hardcastle, though. That's a project for sure. Will Libbert looks okay. Hopefully there are still some good players available for us here. We didn't take a hitter in the first round. Be worth to look at taking a hitter here. Dion Cole, it says he's extremely hard to sign, but he's got good speed. The bat could definitely just not develop. I don't know if that contact is ever going to develop with that avoid Ks where it is. And he doesn't have a good arm in the outfield, even though it says he's a right fielder or will be one day. He's listed as a center fielder, but that's not his best position. Matt Ponatoski. You know what? I feel like one of these two guys in Cole and Ponatoski are hopefully going to be available. Because what I really want to do is take TJ Pompey. Because there's been so many bad shortstops taken, and this guy isn't bad. He has the aptitude to become a better player. Coaches like the effort he puts in on the on-field training. He has really good infield metrics that could turn into good position ratings and some good a good base for improving as a hitter. He's a line drive hitter. His contact and his BABIP are already at 40 and 45. His eye is already at a 40, so we put him in the minor leagues. He's 21. There's a pretty good chance he's going to develop. I think TJ Pompey is a really solid second-round pick here. Let's see how many of those guys we were looking at got taken. Colby Branch, that guy's too old to be that underdeveloped at 23. That's not a great pick by the Rockies there. In a draft where they really need to make some picks. There's Dion Cole to the Cubs. And we do still have Ponatoski with all that contact. And Trent Maben. Trent Maben has a lot of upside. He's a really good outfielder. A lot of pop, 18 years old. But the real thing to me is the cheap bonus demand. And I think there's a good chance he can sign, and it's not like there's a source of power like him anywhere else in the draft. Except for Grant Hussey right here, but we're not going to draft Grant Hussey. Matt Ponatoski, yeah, we're going to go with Trent Maben. I believe in Ponatoski to develop a little more, admittedly. And he's a lefty and he's an infielder, but I just want Trent Maben's power. And I believe in Trent Maben's ability to be a star and a real major league piece one day, more so than Ponatoski. So we're going to draft him in the third round. I'm liking our draft so far. We haven't had a really, huge franchise altering player necessarily, but we only have the 10th pick. That's not even really what we are looking for. We're just looking to make this minor league system not a little bit better, a lot better. I'd like to add, let's go by velocity. I'm just curious. Is there anybody with decent velocity who's a 2.5 star? This guy doesn't look bad. Brad Hodges. Definitely actually a real starter with a real 3-pitch mix. Went to the University of Virginia. Good stuff, good movement, good BABIP. Just needs to work on that control. I like this guy. Adding a starter pretty deep in the draft for a pretty thin draft. I'm kind of proud of that pick. Tyler Jean, this guy should be a decent reliever one day, but I don't know if we're going to take him. I think we're going to go back to hitting. Back to the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, look at Garrett Bone. This is a good minor league bat. Good minor league bat. Brady Reynolds. Borderline maybe turn into a major league talent. Braden Holcomb. Brandon Anderson. Cade Bellew. We're going to take Brady Reynolds here in round 9. Decent right fielder. Decent upside. That power and that eye develop. Play left field and right field. Bright and vocal. Decent player. Chase Williams could be a decent backup outfielder one day. We'll take him as well. Now let's try to look for somebody who more fits that mold of a future reliever. Kevin Jackson doesn't have the stuff to be in the majors. This guy could break through as a reliever one day. Needs to up that velocity. Kai Fike, way better than Ryan Gaggerty here. Garrity? Dude, I can't even tell. We're not going to draft him, so it doesn't matter. He does get drafted by somebody else. Kevin Jackson, like I said, not a big believer. Nick Brazzini, only 2 stars, but I mean, he doesn't look bad, does he? 3-pitch mix. Plenty of green in the mix. 6'4". We'll draft them. Just here, let's go velocity. We're looking at Torin O'Haron earlier because he's got that 95 to 97 miles per hour. So we'll draft him as well. Like I said, just trying to add some decent minor league depth guys here. Not even guys who are necessarily ever going to be on the major league squad. So if you're not interested in this part, you can look at the timestamps in the chapters in the video and skip, because I'm sure there will be timestamps and chapters whenever I upload this. Ty Evans, maybe an outside contender to develop into something. 16th round now. Kevin Jackson is still here, so you know what? I'm going to take him. I don't think he's a major league level arm, but we'll take him anyway. 2.5 star. Ben Barrett. Wow, look at this guy. Get some good stuff when you sort by movement. Movement, to me, honestly, it's kind of a close call. What's more important, movement or stuff? It's not good to have too low of a rating in any of the 3, to be obvious. Having this low of a rating in any of the 3 is a deal breaker whenever it happens. But I'd honestly rather have a guy with high movement than high stuff. And I think in a lot of cases with the elite pitchers, with high movement, having high stuff is really what pushes them into the echelon of being elite if they wouldn't otherwise. And Boston Flannery over here. I thought it says that news name was Caleb Clark. It's Caleb Clark. Much more normal. Mike Miller. Here, Isaac Williams. The control isn't great, but if the control develops, he might be a major league guy. Just crazy for the 19th round. And then we'll just try to take one more hitter here, who maybe has some kind of potential one day. Braden Martin, not bad. Good speed, pinch runner. Kind of want somebody who's solid across the board. Here, Pablo Santos. This guy just seems like a nice minor league farmhand. Play a billion positions. This kind of does everything well. And that will be it for our draft. And we go to team history, history index, and we go to draft history. And we can see everybody we took in this draft. Jason DeCaro was our first round pick. TJ Pompey was our second round pick. Trenton Maben was our third round pick. Let me go to their actual pages here. Jason DeCaro, our first round pick, definitely the best player of the entire draft. The leader, works hard to improve, 4-pitch mix, really good basic pitch ratings, good velocity, good stamina, basically everything that you want to out of a first round pick. TJ Pompey hopefully will become a major league infielder in the future. TJ Pompey, it just sounds like a Minnesota Twin, doesn't it? But big guy, great speed, could be a good fielder one day. The base metrics are already very good and good basic batting ratings. Trent Maben, maybe definitely the highest ceiling of any offensive player we took. If that power develops, you're looking at a really special middle of the order bat. Ethan Bass could be a solid shortstop or just anything in the future. He could be a third baseman, to be honest. You can move him to third base. He's got a good arm. If he's got quick reaction times, he could definitely be a good third baseman. Dylan Moss, Dylan Moss, a really good find there in the 5th round. A good defensive catcher with good bat potential for a really thin draft. I was really proud of that pick. Aiden Moza, good-looking young pitcher. Caden Markham, same deal. Maybe neither of these guys, they might make the major leagues one day. They might not. We'll see. Brad Hodges, really good depth starting option with a surprising velocity. Hopefully Brady Reynolds develops. Chase Williams, now we're starting to drop off in quality a little bit. We'll take a look at all the rest of the guys from here on out. It's mostly guys I don't really expect to play that many games above high A necessarily. Maybe not even. Maybe some of these guys. Ben Barrett could play in double A right now, actually. But yeah, just minor league depth guys. Nothing to see here. Let's continue simulating because the real meat of this episode is going to be the trade deadline. We are now 30-60. Wildly successful season. All right, let's make some adjustments to the roster here. Conforto isn't in the starting lineup right now. He's actually had a pretty good year. Emmanuel Rodriguez has been pretty brutal, so we're going to send him back down. And Luke Keeschel is going to come back up. He's been particularly brutal, but it's not going to hurt his development quite as much to struggle, and he's been a monster in AAA so far, so hopefully he brings that success that he's found in AAA back up with him to the major leagues. I have my doubts, but that's certainly what we're hoping for. And Emmanuel Rodriguez is back hitting cleanup in AAA. And we'll remove Keeschel from that locked in second base spot. Alejandro Ozuna's having a decent year in AAA, but he's just not quite ready. Maybe in September. Just going to make a little shift here. Miguel Amaya's having a pretty bad year. So we'll send him to AAA, and we'll swap him with Mickey Gasper. Just want to give it a different look at catcher. We're 30 games under 500. Might as well just try what we can try. Sending Wilfred Veras down to AA. He needs more playing time. I want Abimelec Ortiz to get more playing time as a backup as well. We might call up Alan Roden because he's not even starting in the minor leagues. We're just going to jump the gun here and get some of our trade stuff done before the trade deadline. Trey Mancini with a 77 OPS plus, managing to cling on to a 0.0 wins above replacement with 1 home run in 82 plate appearances on the only year of his contract. So he's going to get shopped around, and we will, in fact, eat all of the money if anybody wants to take him. And hopefully Alan Roden will take his spot in the lineup. We're going to have to trade. Apparently, we can't get prospects for him, which sucks. Pretty much nobody wants to trade for Trey Mancini. So I think what I'm going to do, the better option with Mancini would just be to put him on the block and wait our time until the trade deadline. We're also going to put the other relevant guys that we need to, many of whom we essentially signed effectively to trade away. Now, we've already traded away Garcia. But yeah, like for example, we've got Michael Soroka here. We'll put him on the block. Jose Alvarado's okay for now, but Trey Mancini, Michael Conforto, of course. Is Michael Conforto still in the starting lineup? No, he's hitting 245 with a 338. He's definitely worth putting on the block, but I want to wait more time to let the market for him develop a touch. Because he might be our most valuable trade piece, to be honest with you, sad as that is. I don't think we're going to trade Gurriel until next year. Not that Gurriel has been particularly productive. It's honestly been a pretty dreadful offense. Trevor Larnach has also been something of a bright spot with 12 home runs, but found him a bright spot. He doesn't even have a 300 on base percentage. Matt Wallner needs to pick it up. He's only had 51 at bats. Collins has been getting on base. Martin's been getting on base. So they do an okay job getting on base, but it's an underwhelming offense. I'm gonna stop. Of course, it's an underwhelming offense. We're 30 games below 500. So Conforto, Mancini, and Soroka all on the trade block. And bro, who else was it? Nobody. All right, let's just sim. Fuck it. And we just keep on losing. How long is this losing streak? Look at Robert Gasser, man. We sung his praises. Now to a 7 ERA in 18 games. Is there anybody in the minors? Because, that's just... Ayawagi hasn't had the most success in the majors so far. David Festa is honestly doing okay, managing these games here in the minors. He isn't getting blown up in the minors. He's got a good 4-pitch mix. For my money, I think we should send down Quinn Priester. Nah, sorry, not Quinn Priester. Robert Gasser. Even if it takes away our only lefty, what does it matter that he's a lefty when he's getting blown up every game? And we'll call up, we have Ryan Yarborough to be a lefty if we really need there to be a lefty in there. But Ryan Yarborough doesn't have a lot of velocity. Okay, we have Steven Matz, we have Connor Prelip. If the game wants to force a lefty in the rotation, it'll do it. But we're going to call up David Festa because I think that when he's a little happier and in the major leagues, he might pitch a little better. I don't know. And they do put him in the rotation. So hopefully we can get Soroka out of here and add even more clarity to the rotation in the coming days. It's another loss. Losing streak now at only 6 games. We're 1-9 in our last 10. Not surprising, but you know what? Hey, maybe it's a first overall pick. Here we come. I really would be surprised if they could manage to find an all-star for us. Jose Alvarado would probably be. Let's see, all-star game rosters. Just a quick look. There is our all-star Jose Alvarado. There's absolutely no way we have another one. No. Mike Trout still getting elected to all-star games. Byron Buxton, former Twin there with the Rangers. In the all-star game. Rukia Kiyama getting elected to the all-star game in his first year in the league. Thomas Pannone from the Angels. That's an interesting one. Putting together a 6-3 with a 2.22 earned run average. And here's your National League All-Stars, by the way. Johan Duran, our former closer. And we are not getting offers for any of these guys we put on the trade block as of yet, although that really shouldn't be terribly surprising. Steven Matz wants to be in the starting rotation. You know what? I'm honestly if you want to force Michael Soroka, I don't know, man. I might force Michael Soroka to be a starter, but if we trade him, I think if we trade him for anybody young, Steven Matz would be the guy to come into the rotation. And it's just more and more losing. Luke Keeschel wins Player of the Week, apparently. Apparently he had a good week. We didn't. We did not. We're still 1-9 in our last 10. We're just losing every game and then sprinkling in a couple wins. There's a 9-1 win over Arizona. And now we're at the 29th, and we finally get a couple of trade offers here. Right before the trade deadline, as we sit 32-70. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeesh. And I have done it. In case you were wondering if this was a blow up of the Minnesota Twins, this is officially a blow up. We're 32-70. I tried to make this team something like competitive this year, and it just didn't work. I mean, Matt Wallner hasn't helped us at all. Let's be real. Jesse Winker has actually been okay. That's another guy who should be let's be honest, probably be on the trade block. That's somebody I'm much more inclined to deal at the deadline this year. Brooks Lee with 14 home runs. Look at you. Trevor Larnach managing 13 home runs. And Gurriel honestly putting up okay numbers to a point where it's if we really are going to be this bad, why not? Why have a 32-year-old Lourdes Gurriel showing any kind of talent or any kind of value at all? Why not just deal him? Because these really are the dark days. These are the dog days of this rebuild, and you got to look at Alvarado too. So there's a lot of different ways we could go this deadline. We could be more busy. We could be less busy. It really depends. But there's not exactly a ton of guys in the minors I'm itching to bring up to the major leagues. I mean, Walker Jenkins is an exciting player. So is just Nixon Garcia, but I'm not exactly excited to bring them up and watch them struggle on this team. We've got a guy like Jose Miranda, who's 28, that I might like bringing up. A guy like Sung-Chae Chang, who's a little older, who I might like giving a look. But right now, our AAA team is a much better offensive environment developmentally than our major league team is, certainly. And this is not a very good trade. They're not really offering us anything for Soroka here. Pirates, is this a good prospect? This is an okay prospect. Jay Thompson, I'm just not really big on the deal. Let's look what we can get for Soroka. Let us shop Soroka around and see what happens. Sad to inform you guys, but it really doesn't seem like there's anything we can get for Soroka either. Yariel Rodriguez is on a 3-year, $7 million contract. That's not really what we're looking for. I guess at some point we're just going to have to take what prospect we can get for some of these guys. Jesse Winker has been productive. If we can't get anything for anybody else, if there's just no market for Mancini, let's look at Conforto. We haven't tried to shop Conforto yet. But I'm starting to doubt there's going to be a market for any of these older guys. Concerning prospects, at least. There we go. Okay. So we eat all the money on Conforto. We can actually get something. Austin Strickland, a decent reliever. And Carlos Rodriguez. Not a lot of power, but certainly an okay player. Here we go. So we added a prospect from one of those other deals in, and now we get more stuff. Now we have far more players on offer. But let's see. Jorbit Vivas has this 80 grade avoid Ks that could be fun, but he definitely doesn't have a complete bat. Connor Fontenelle could be a good defensive first baseman in real life. David Mershon could be a good defensive second baseman. How about these guys from the Red Sox? Alan Castro looks like a decent outfielder, decent center fielder. Rightus Senna doesn't look that good. Yordani Monegro doesn't look that good. Hudson White is just a defensive specialist. Now, Matthew Lugo doesn't look like that bad of a bat. I like the contact. I just like Carlos Rodriguez. The power is a bummer, but you got to like the hit tool overall, despite the 2030. I think Lugo and Rodriguez is not a bad move here. Not a huge Eddie Leonard guy. So let's just go with Rodriguez and Lugo. And we can't take Jay Thompson out of it, so they never would have offered us that if we shopped him. If we shopped Jesse Winker, we never would have gotten this deal, but we managed to add another prospect in and get this deal. And we can even take some money off, and it looks like they're still taking the deal. So, you know what? Let's look for more prospects from Atlanta here and see what we can get done. Isaiah Drake, look at this guy. Speedster, can you imagine? Only 2.5 stars. Drew Hackenberg, look at this. 5-pitch mix, decent velocity, Rule 5 eligible, so they might be willing to deal him. Let's see. You're kidding. Okay. Here's Eddie Leonard, who they offered. All right. I mean, listen. We can get him too. Cash Mayfield, baby. How about Cash Mayfield? Okay. They just really don't want to give us a pitcher. I think I'm getting the theme here. They just really don't want to give us a pitcher. How about this closer? 4-pitch mix, power pitcher, 99 miles an hour. Yosper Sanchez. All right. We're just going to settle with this. We're not going to get a pitcher out of this. It's Jesse Winker for Carlos Rodriguez, Matthew Lugo, and Eddie Leonard. Hopefully one of these guys turns into a good major league piece, a guy who we can put in our major league lineup at some point. Three-for-one deal for Jesse Winker is complete, and this organization is certainly a little bit stronger. Matthew Lugo, apparently on the major league roster, or at least DFA'd. See if he can go to AAA. So I'd rather have him in AAA than the big show right now. There we go, nice. Other two in the deal. Carlos Rodriguez is in AAA, and Eddie Leonard is also in AAA. Nice. Since we traded away Winker, the guy I want to bring up is Jose Miranda. Good avoid Ks. A good defensive first baseman. Has played plenty with the Twins in the majors in real life to somewhat mixed results. But now he's back up in the big show playing first for the big club. Look at that. They pop him right there, number 2 in the order. Not the biggest eye guy, but you know what? He can get on base for certain. And it's nice to see Luke Keeschel. He went down to the minor leagues, bring him back up, and now he's hot in the majors. He won that Player of the Week, of course. You see a home run and 3 RBI there and a surprise win against the Dodgers. Let's see. What if we get rid of Michael Conforto and Soroka and eat all the money on both of them? Can we get one single prospect? Just curious. Okay. So the Angels. This David Mershon guy is all right. I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to manage to sell me on him. They've got Brainer Bonacci, who's been a fun guy in former OOTP games. We still have a few guys on the block. Let's sim another day and pay attention to if we get any offers, including prospects. They want to give us Lars Nootbaar for Alejandro Osuna and Xavier Kohlhasser. That's a really interesting trade. I don't know why I would take Lars Nootbaar. Really, really bad numbers across the board. He's not simulating well at all. Yeah, I'm just not going to take this deal. I'm just not interested. And you know what? Tomorrow is the trade deadline, so Xavier Kohlhasser is a good hint at a guy teams might be looking at. We already, well, yeah, Jay Thomason we can also put in deals. And Castillo. All right, so let's see about this Kohlhasser kid. See, Kohlhasser and Conforto. Eat 100% on Conforto. See if we get any prospects. It's still just the Angels. So this is depressing. I don't like the thought that I'm just going to have the Angels to work with here when it comes to dealing Conforto, but that may be the reality of the situation. We'll try Jay Thomason again. The thing about Conforto is we're eating all the money. He's been so productive, and he's so cheap. He's only on $3 million just for this year. He's got a good eye. He's got good power. I don't know, yeah. The 118 OPS plus, he's got a good slash line, but ultimately the 7 home runs and 278 plate appearances is kind of hard to justify, to be real. Trading for if you're a contender, I mean. It doesn't exactly seem like Michael Conforto would be a guy who would really help most borderline playoff teams in a playoff race. Oswaldo Cabrera, just kind of flat across the board. Jose Caballero, not a bad player from the Yankees, but I don't necessarily know what he adds to our team. Jacob Lopez has been dreadful in the major leagues this year. 6.51 ERA is a fly ball pitcher. Oswald Peraza doesn't really have much to offer. Nick Margavicius. I mean, a Conforto for Mershon deal seems like, I don't know, no, you know? Just like, no thanks. This is a really tough trade deadline, guys. It's just tough to move these guys. I'm more about Mancini for Mershon. I think that's a little more even. So let's try to do that with the Angels. And, like, this is so ridiculous. I feel like I'm the one chasing Mershon, not the other way around. So you know what? I'm going to look through some of the other Angels prospects because it is Conforto. They're not going to do Mershon for Mancini for some reason. I don't think we can get anybody for Mancini. I think trading Mancini is just a dream. I want to find another guy. I mean, they're offering these Rule 5 eligible guys. And I mean, it means that I'm going to have to put them on the 40 too. And I don't think these guys would make my 40-man roster because the truth is I don't really think they're that good. Luis Morejo has an outside chance to turn into an okay first baseman. He's 20. Yeah, they don't want to do it. They're not going to want to give away anybody good. Nelson Rada, I remember seeing before. Love to have him. Tack on a little more. We may have a deal, and he requires me to give away somebody good. I'm not that big of a Riley Quick guy, but I still don't want to give him up in this context. How about Chase Shores? Doesn't seem like that great of a prospect. Yeah, he's a starter, so they're going to defend him with their lives. That's right. Nate Snead. I mean, if you could turn this guy into a starter, he'd be a steal. He's listed as a closer now. You can't be serious. They just want Walker Jenkins for everything. Sam Aldeguerri. I don't know why this guy would be on the 40. Let's just do Brainer Bonacci. I'm sure that'll work because we know who's going to work. We know who they want to give up. We just have to pick the guys we want. Brainer Bonacci is an okay infielder, more of just minor league depth. Joel Hurtado, there is an outside chance that he could maybe turn into a major leaguer one day. So I guess we can take him. I really don't want Cole Fontanelle. So we're just going to do Conforto for David Mershon, Brainer Bonacci, and Joel Hurtado. This is not my favorite trade in the world. I ideally wanted to get more out of signing a guy like Michael Conforto for the cheap. I was trying to maximize his value. You know, he's got a 118 OPS plus. I think he could offer something to somebody, but apparently it's really only the Angels who I don't even know if they're necessarily a good team. They're not. They're like sort of in the playoff race. But yeah, apparently they're going to add Michael Conforto to try to make a little run at things, and there he goes. Michael Conforto with a Los Angeles Angel, and we now have two or three, rather, more prospects for our minor league system. Brainer Bonacci will put him in Double A. Still 24. Joel Hurtado, he belongs in Double A. That's fine. And David Mershon, I'm kind of okay with him in Triple A. Let's see where he fits on that roster and that lineup. I have 20 players in Triple A. That's still a lot. Yeah, he's pretty young. I wanted to call up Alan Roden. We were going to do that. Really good avoid Ks, good eye. See if he can put up a good slash line in the major leagues. I don't have big expectations for his power potential. Gabriel Gonzalez will go down to Double A. Hopefully get more playing time, and so will David Mershon, and then we're going to have to clear out Double A roster. That's how this game works. David Mershon, another short king at 5'7". Lots of short dudes on our team. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'll cut Jose Salas, I guess. Do we have too many catchers? We have way too many catchers down here. And it's not even going to start Diego Cartaya. That is completely insane. So Andrew Cassetti is going to be gone. Nate Baez. You know what? Noah Cardenas is going to be gone as well. Screw all those catchers. Andy Lugo can down to high A. Seems more like a high A player. Then O'Donnell, Hendry Mendez. Lots of talent on this roster, man. Lots of talent in this Double A team. But somebody needs to go down to high A. We'll put Kalai Rosario on Triple A. I feel like he'd be better used as a Triple A backup. I tell you what, man. I just want one of these guys in the starting lineup. Okay, then I'm just going to release you. I just want Gabriel Gonzalez starting. If I have to send him down to high A to get him to start, I'll do it. All right, cool. I just need you starting, bro. It sucks to see a guy go down from Triple A to high A, but he needs playing time. There we go. We can get rid of a couple of the old heads on this high A team. By old heads, I mean 23-year-olds. And look, David Vestal 1-0 with a 0.0 error. Michael Soroka at 0-9 with a 6.61. I wonder if we're having trouble trading him. Speaking of trading, we still have Trey Mancini, Mark Leiter, of course. Let's see if we can package Trey Mancini and Mark Leiter together. Just an interesting little idea popping into my mind. Just trying to get some value out of Trey Mancini any way I can. Add somebody to this deal. Where is Mark Leiter Jr.? Anybody? Didn't think so, so we'll just eat all the money. Okay. So it's the A's. This guy's not bad at all. Wow. This guy's pretty good. This guy's decent. Carlos Duran. Malcolm Nunez, nah. But honestly, I can't pronounce this guy's name to save my life. But I'm okay with Carlos Duran and Jake whatever. Jake J. Jake Jekalek? Jake Jack. His name is Jake Jekalek. It actually is Jekalek. That's hilarious. All right, we're gonna do Duran, Jekalek, and Nunez. I'm not gonna really think twice about it. I'm tired of these overly difficult trades. We know we're just gonna get strong armed, and we're probably not gonna be able to fit anybody else into the deal beyond who we've already been told about. Duran, Jekalek, and Malcolm Nunez. And then we remove the money and see if they still want to take the deal. They do. So Carlos Duran, I'm honestly making this whole deal for this guy. 6'7". The basic pitch ratings are good enough to fit an excellent fastball, an excellent slider, and an excellent changeup with 97 miles an hour. Also a great fielder of the position, by the way. 75 grade position rating and a three-quarter arm angle power pitcher with 55 stamina, so he can start games, and he holds runners well. He does just about everything well other than that 45 control. We're getting him for Trey Mancini, who didn't do much for us. And Mark Leiter Jr., who never pitched a game for the team. So I am not hating that deal either. I think this minor league system just continues to get stronger and stronger. Carlos trying to be in Double-A. Jekalek can be in high A. I actually like him there. Maybe grow a little bit. Malcolm Nunez. Can he go to high A? Okay, he can go to Double-A, though. So we're a hitter short once again. Let's see here. Roden, Peyton, Eels. What are we missing? Don't know that we're necessarily missing anything. We're missing just a utility player. So we can kind of bring up anybody from any position. I was going to say Che Chang would be the guy I would lean towards. Eddie's Leonard is ripping it up in AAA. 345 in AAA so far. Maybe give Eddie's Leonard a shot. He can play just about every position. If we want a utility guy, he can steal bases too. We just traded for him. Let's see. Let's see what Eddie's Leonard has. And we'll go in and customize his strategy. And he can steal bases a little more often. That'd be nice. Because that does appear to be essentially his job. And his defense is important. I don't know if it's that important. And then is there anybody else that we want to get rid of? Yeah, that's right. Michael Soroka. Dustin May has honestly been all right. He's been used sparingly. Nah, you know what? I'm looking at the 0.6 WAR, 92 ERA plus. He must be getting a little lucky. The home run allowed isn't great. The control isn't great. He's got the velo, but you know what? All I'm saying is we can throw him in a trade and make a Michael Soroka deal more appetizing. I'll do it. Although I doubt he can make any trade more appetizing. He's got negative WAR, unfortunately. But let's see. Let's test the hypothesis. Why not? It's like science. You have to test a hypothesis. Come on, duh. If you test a hypothesis, therefore it is science. Come on now. That's how conspiracy theorists have been getting away with calling themselves scientists for decades on the internet. Yeah, bro, that fire alarm at that mall in Miami last year on New Year's, that was definitely just some kids blowing fireworks. My friend told me that he saw a tweet that said it was an alien. Can I show you the photos of the actual aliens? No, just some AI crap. But trust me, bro, there was an alien invasion of that mall in Miami last New Year's. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there are people that think that 8-foot-tall skinwalker aliens invaded a mall in Miami on New Year's, and then the CIA came in and brain wiped everybody. New Year's 2024, like last year, that everyone in that whole region of Miami just had their phones wiped or something, and that it was definitely a real alien invasion. Anyway, let's trade Michael Soroka. And man, just nothing, huh? Just nothing. So let's try it with one of our trusty prospects. See if that works. And you know what, man? Soroka is 0-9 with almost a 7 ERA this year. It's been such a brutal struggle for him. I'll take a veteran just to get rid of him, especially if it's somebody that I'm okay with having on the roster, that I'm okay having in the bullpen, especially if it's somebody I can maybe move on next year. But most of these guys look like They are, in fact, in their upper 30s. Sergio Alcantara, not a bad backup infielder. Ahmed Rosario, not a bad contact hitter. Here we go. Here's some decent guys from the Rangers. Brian Baker, Jalen Beeks. Brian Baker has a really plus arm. And we're not going to have to pay him like we would Rodriguez. I don't like the home runs allowed. I obviously don't like the movement. He's going to give up bombs in Minnesota just like he gives up bombs everywhere. Just historically, he gives up bombs. That's what he does. That is the big hole in his game at 31 years old. But he's not somebody that I really expect is going to be here for the long term if we do, in fact, make the decision to trade for him. Luis Severino is on way too much money. JP France, I'm okay. Jorge Soler, I'm okay. Schreiber and Young. Keegan Aiken. Keegan Aiken doesn't quite have the home run problems. He's a free agent at the end of this year. I don't think he's going to ask for a big extension, though, and he's only 31. I mean, you can sign him to a small extension, then hopefully move him on. Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech has multiple problems that he does. It's just the bad control, bad home runs allowed is just kind of a no-no to me in general. Because Baker at least has that 60 control. I don't know. I just feel like there's something about us playing in a more defensive park where we can get something out of Brian Baker. He's still got a little team control, clearly. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get rid of this money. We can. And we can get Brian Baker effectively for free for Michael Soroka. We just kind of fleeced the Rangers, to be honest with you. Soroka's been awful, so he's out the door. And I don't know who's going to fill this last spot on the rotation. Hopefully it's Steven Matz because he's been asking. They put Dustin May. All right, fine. I mean, Steven Matz is going to get mad, but it's not like he's mad. And it's not like he isn't already mad anyway. And you know what? Let's see what we can get for Gurriel. He's got negative WAR, 101 OPS plus. Don't necessarily know that he's going to have a better year next year. And we have some guys we can bring up from the minors. We'll just check on Gurriel here and see if there's a market. Interesting. We'd have to eat all the money, but there's something here from the Yankees at least. How about Kalai Rosario is an extra guy in AAA at this point? That doesn't add anything. Who was that other guy that they were looking at? He started with T. Jay Thomason. All reliable. We have no more shop attempts for today. And today is the trade deadline, so last chance for romance here. I don't necessarily know that I want to trade Lourdes Gurriel for anything on offer here from the Yankees. I don't necessarily know if Yorbit Vivas and Luis Serna is the offer I'm looking for there. Sadly. So let's look at regulars here. I'm not going to look at veterans. I don't want somebody too old, too overpaid. But if we can get a decent major league player, no, it doesn't look like it. Cam Schlittler is a good pitcher in real life. I don't know if in this game. I don't like the home runs allowed in the control. Clark Schmidt is a little old, and they gave him a big extension. Will Warren, I'm just not a big fan of. I don't like the control. I'm not a big fan of his in real life. Austin Wells. He seems like a twin. He's a lefty. He's got some pop. It would kind of fix the catcher position. Will Warren and Austin Wells is not bad here for Lourdes Gurriel. That's not a bad return for Lourdes Gurriel. I'm not going to pretend for 1 second that that's bad. If we can get Schlittler, Warren, and Wells, could you imagine? Let's try. Let's try to just have our cake and eat it too. We can get Schlittler and Wells right now. That's really not bad. Schlittler, Wells, and let's see. Where is Will Warren? Is he down here? Luis Heel is down here. And I forgot about Yorbit Vivas. Man, we could really, dude, we could kind of make off. We could kind of make off here in a trade with the Yankees. Get some decent returns here. How about Will Warren? All right, they don't like it anymore. And Yorbit Vivas. They say close but no cigar. Let's keep talking. We can throw in Isaac Collins. Ooh, we could throw in Steven Matz. And they'll take the money, too. And he's mad right now. Well, that kind of just makes me want to trade Steven Matz, no? And it makes me regret not doing the deadline sooner because I need more shop attempts, and I still kind of want to take a look at the market for Jose Alvarado, although at this point I might be leaving us with absolutely no lefties left. How about who is CJ Culpepper? Is this guy any good? You know what? This guy really isn't that good. He's got good velo. I don't know. I feel like I might be giving away a guy that's gonna get a big burst there and turn into something. To be honest, Culpepper, because he's got like a 5-pitch mix. Against my better judgment, I am gonna shop Steven Matz. Let's just see, because I have to do my due diligence here. We can't just give him away. Yeah, there is a good market for Steven Matz. Matt McLean, Christian Encarnacion Strand. He kind of belongs in a separate deal. I don't know if Matt McLean's that good. How about these guys? Yeah, there's just so much on offer. Winseal Perez. There's so many players, man. We could really get somebody for Steven Matz. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to try to not include Steven Matz in this deal. Which means, honestly, I might include Culpepper because, honestly, I feel kind of lazy. And if we take the money out, Steven Matz still gets it done. They want Yost Nixon Garcia. I'm gonna put Culpepper in. We might regret it one day. Like 6-pitch mix, 95 miles an hour. He's only been in 1 inning this year. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was injured. History. Did he have an injury? Yeah. He missed 11 months. He had a really bad 10-month injury. So you know what? That's honestly, to me, that's another reason to trade him. He might have been a much higher potential player before that, and then the injury took some of his potential away. But anyway, we're getting Cam Schlittler, who's definitely going to get a shot in this rotation. Austin Wells, who's going to be our new starting catcher. Will Warren, who's probably going to get a chance in the rotation in the future. And Yorbit Vivas, who very well could end up being our backup infielder. For Lourdes Gurriel, who had a negative WAR for us. Jay Thomason, who is just a guy that a bunch of teams kept trying to trade for, and a prospect coming off a year-long injury. I don't hate this trade either. Let's make this trade. Gurriel, Thomason, and Culpepper for Schlittler, Wells, Warren, and Yorbit Vivas. And we have a Steven Matz to trade. Oh, I hate it. All right, well, we're going to have to use one of our last shop attempt. We're only going to have one shop attempt for Alvarado. Ronnie Mauricio. Man, oh man, the Mets want to give us Ronnie Mauricio. Tearing up the minors. Great speed, lots of... And Brett Beatty. I mean, I feel like these are guys Mets fans are a little higher on than the game is. Or guys who are a little more respected in real life than the game thinks. Man, look at Dominic Canzone. He could definitely be something in the majors. Oh, that's it then? Okay. Man, Cal Stevenson has a great eye. But also just, again, doesn't really seem like he's got a full-on major league bat. But Steven Matz back to the Mets also makes the most baseball sense too. And I really like just Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Beatty. Ronnie Mauricio plays a great first base, plays a good third base, good arm, good speed. Can have exceptional power if it develops, good contact. A little short in the eye department, but that's about it. And then you've got Brett Beatty, who has struggled in the major league level, but maybe he needs a little time in AAA to figure things out. So, and Zach Geloff also. You know what, man? Let's do it. Let's try to get all 3 of them. Just give ourselves more. Just really emphasize in depth here, giving ourselves a lot of options in terms of guys we can give shots in the major leagues. And hopefully we come out the other side in a couple of years with a really solid hitting core we can be proud of. And they're trying to play tough here. Let's take Geloff out of the deal and add some retained money on Matz. And they still take the deal with us retaining all the money. So we're giving them Steven Matz. They're paying all the money, and they're giving us Ronnie Mauricio and Brett Beatty. Really like that deal. We'll take it. So many players DFA'd. We'll take care of this in a sec. All right, we used our last shop around to make a deal for Jose Alvarado here with the Toronto Blue Jays. It's going to be backup infielder Edison Paulinho, pitcher Adam Macco, 4-pitch mix, a decent velocity. be a bullpen guy, be a rotation guy, and outfielder Christian Robinson, who's a good defender, good runner, and has a little bit of potential with the bat. Don't necessarily know if I believe in him. He's a little old, hasn't really developed yet, but it is what it is. These are the guys that the Blue Jays offered to us. These are the guys that we can get, and we unfortunately don't have another shop around a champ, but Jose Alvarado has been very good for us, and he's moving to a contender in the Blue Jays where his skills will be much, much more useful. So let's make this deal. And that concludes, honestly, a pretty standard trade deadline for a team like us. I think for the rest of the league, they're not going to be paying that much attention. No real big blockbuster prospect, but so many young players who are at or near major league level who can help contribute in the future. That New York trade, actually both the New York trades for Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Beatty, and then, of course, Cam Schlittler, Austin Wells, Will Warren, Yorbit Vivas. We really added a lot of guys who can help this team on the major league roster in the near future and who can help our development by giving our young players some decent teammates and some decent teams to be on down there in the low and middle minor league. So this was far from an unimportant or unnecessary trade deadline. If we want this team to stop struggling one day, it's the deals like these that are going to help that dream come true. Cam Schlittler's still suspended. So, you know what? I guess we will add Will Warren to the Major League roster here. We need another bat. Mickey Gasper is going to go back down to AAA. Going to have his spot taken by the formidable Austin Wells. We'll send Eddie Leonard down. AAA, he never got an at-bat. Unfortunately, I'd much rather have Brett Beatty or Mauricio. I think Mauricio goes to AAA. I don't know. Is he going to get playing time in AAA, though, is sort of my concern. Christian Robinson is definitely a AA guy. But yeah, like I said, I'm very concerned about if Mauricio will get playing time in AAA. It's a crowded AAA lineup. They didn't change. They didn't change the AAA lineup a freaking lick. Nick Solak is still down here. I don't even know anymore, man. There's way too many players down here in AAA. Looks like our minor leagues are going to need another sorting out here. I think, honestly, I'm just going to cut Nick Solak. I like him, but it's just extra players at this point. JC Escara, Miguel Amaya has actually been playing at least. Micah Prize isn't that good of a player. Anthony Prado is okay. Alejandro Osuna, if he's not starting, he needs to be down in AA. Actually starting. You know what, I am actually just going to cut Kalai Rosario. I don't know who Will Holland is. We'll just cut him. And there we go. Now he's getting playing time. Now he's in the starting lineup. Okay, good. So now Ronnie Mauricio is getting playing time in the minor leagues in AAA. He is the first baseman for the AAA team. That's good to see. And got somebody from the 40. Michael Hellman's going to get waived and DFA'd. Brett Beatty is going to come onto the Major League roster. That makes 12. We're still in need of an outfielder here. Not that we don't have plenty of options. It still doesn't seem like Walker Jenkins' time to me. It's not just Nixon Garcia's time either. Let's bring up Abimelec Ortiz. think he earned a major league shot a while ago. He's been very productive in AAA the last 2 years. And then we just need one more pitcher up from the minors, and that will do it for our trade deadline. And I like Mick Abel. We're going to give him a little promotion by demotion. I think his struggles might be due to the fact that he's down in AAA and he doesn't want to be. We're going to try to save his development while we can and give him a bump up to the show. Hopefully the 13-man, having 13 pitchers rather, and 13 hitters will give guys like Abel and Dustin May and Dylan Lesko a little bit more opportunity to pitch and prove themselves. Right now it has Will Warren listed as the ace of the staff. If you're wondering what state our team is in, Quinn Priester and Kumar Rocker have honestly held down the fort, been really important innings eaters. But Zebby Matthews, who I said I liked a lot before the year, has definitely struggled. That home run in the tune of a 1.6 whip, 1.6 homer per 9, 5.62 earned run average, only 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, and a BABIP against of .380, ERA plus of 69. Just a pretty dreadful year for Zebby Matthews despite all that velocity. So here's a look at the team headed into the end of the 2026 season, and we're going to get through this as quick as possible and get to the offseason in episode 4. All right, so we sent Mick Abel down to AAA, brought up Josh Walker, lefty, who's had a decent season down in the minors, and let's sim August. We take 2 of 3 from Washington. David Festa gets suspended for brawling with Nationals outfielder Jacob Young. Braden Fisher's had a pretty brutal year. I think I'm going to send him down to AAA and give Cam Schlittler a chance in the Major League roster. Schlittler isn't as good of a pitcher as Fisher, but Fisher's struggled so much he just needs a change of scene at this point. So waving DFA Mickey Gasper, we can find another third-string catcher, and we'll put Schlittler on the Major League roster. Dustin May is angry. He wants to be in the rotation, but to be fair, we've got a lot of angry players right now, and Dustin May just needs to shut up and perform if he wants to stay on the team at this point, to be honest with you. If you want to stay on the roster, maybe don't have a 6 ERA and stop whining about your role. We take 2 of 3 from the White Sox on a more positive note. Hopefully we can avoid losing 100 games. I have my doubts, but we're actually doing kind of okay here since the trade deadline, weirdly. Even though we really should have the worst team in the entire major leagues, not that we don't already. Look at Matt Wallner hitting 132, bro. Luke Keishel's up at 246. I remember he's been down at like 215 the entire year, and he's got a great eye. So let's see. He's center field. He's got a 353 on base, which is not bad at all. 5 steals. Let's send him more. Let's make sure he runs a little more. Base run a little aggressively. There we go. You know what? I just want him stealing. We got to do something well. Like, come on now. Most bad teams steal a lot of bases. I mean, maybe not much anymore, but I feel like especially back in the day, back when I was a kid, back in the 2000s, 2010s, it would seem like every year the worst team in the league would be the team that also led the league in steals. Like, you just got to do something to try to create offense. Abimelech Ortiz, just brutal. 187. What's his OPS? 662. 84 plate appearances. We can give him a little bit more of a sample size. He's got a lot of swing and miss. We've got a lot of guys with a lot of swing and miss. Brett Beatty has been far from fantastic, but I'm going to be honest, that's not surprising. You know what? I'm going to do this for Brett Beatty. We're going to try to give Brett Beatty the old offensive boost. I'm going to go very, very strong here with Brett Beatty and really, really try to just boost pretty much everything important. I don't even want, I don't even want gap power. I just want contact and power and eye. Let's just actually please improve Brett Beatty as a hitter so we can have some kind of a chance. But yeah, we've got a bad offense, to be honest with you. It's been a pretty dreadful year offensively. I mean, like, if you're reaching for positives, I do really kind of like Luke Keishel's ability to get on base. I think that's a nice thing. I think Luke Keichel can maybe be a productive player. Trevor Larnach is actually playing over his head to be at 243. I mean, you know what? Honestly, that might be about average. The sad thing is that he's probably been our best offensive contributor. Well, Brooks Lee, quietly having a decent year, actually. Only not even a 300 on base percentage, but you know what? He's hitting 264. He's got 16 home runs. 2.2 wins above replacement, obviously a good fielder, a switch hitting shortstop. Can you really complain? Give him a little BABIP. Give him a little power. Let's give him a little power. There we go. Just a little power. Let's keep marching forward because these are, let's be real, these are the very, very dregs of this save. I promise you things are going to get better. We're going to work hard and make things better. But this is rough right now, as we've pretty much gotten rid of everything that they didn't get rid of already, like I said before. Man, but look at Brooks Lee. He's looking good. Let's hit Brooks Lee cleanup. Screw it. Why not? I mean, he's the only guy with any kind of a respectable slash line. Why not just hit him cleanup? Or third. You know what? I like him third. I like having a switch hitting shortstop hit third. I like that. Try to make it seem like we don't totally suck. Like, we've got a switch hitting shortstop who's hitting 269, hitting third. We're not completely incompetent, all right? Look away. Matt Wallner is just not doing it. Matt Wallner is just not doing it, huh? 160. Roster expansion. Maybe we can expand Matt Wallner off the roster. He's just like... expand the roster by getting rid of Matt Wallner. I mean, yeah, the avoid Ks is gone. The contact is gone. Can we control his development as well? Because, okay, we need to focus on avoid Ks with Matt Wallner. It needs to be the exact opposite. He needs to gain some avoid Ks, and I want to really focus on power. I don't really care about his BABIP. I definitely don't care about his gap power. I care about his power and his avoid Ks. That's the only thing Matt Wallner should be focusing on there. I mean, his eye. His eye needs to be good. I don't want his eye to regress. I don't care about his running, bro. Sorry, I really don't care about his running. There. I'm sorry, we got to do something. 179 is just not acceptable. And you know what? Let's have Trevor Larnach hit cleanup. I'm going to force some kind of strategy out of this team because, like, bro, we've got to do something here. And we're definitely going to make some staff changes here at the start of the offseason, which is going to be episode 4. It's been a very long episode, I know, here, episode 3. But this is going to be a less edited, more chill style kind of playthrough here, obviously, that I definitely recommend watching on a sped up. If you aren't watching this sped up by now, like, hats off to you. Put this shit on 1.25, put this shit on 1.5. I've never watched it on 1.75, but I watch my own videos on 1.5 speed. Not all of them, but I'm not going to spend that much time listening to myself blabber. I'm not watching this shit on regular speed, bro. I got places to be. Austin Martin, Austin Wells. Let's see, how has he done? Oh, man, he's been bad in a Twins uniform. 38 OPS plus. Yeah, we need to chill on the defense a little bit. He's obviously a catcher, but we gotta try to get Austin Wells hitting here. You know, he's got some hit tool there as a catcher. How's Alan Roden been? Nice. Alan Roden's hitting 300. Do you like to see it? Miranda putting up 250. Morales at 203. Do we have a catcher in the minors that I might want to bring up here? Give another shot. We still have Miguel Amaya. That's kind of an obvious guy to bring back up. 82 OPS plus isn't the end of the world. Walker Jenkins is probably going to make the team next year. He's really good. Oh, we DFA'd Mickey Gasper, but he's not gone. JC Escar has done really well in AAA, but he's not a great defensive catcher, only a 40. Let's bring up Chang. I said I was going to bring up Chang all year long. Having 14 hitters is a little much. We'll go 14-14. Sung-Jae Chang going to come up to the Twins. Man, Eddie Leonard is tearing up AAA. We could have done Eddie Leonard too. He's got a good case. Is there somebody we can send down so I can bring up Eddie Leonard? Peyton Neals honestly hasn't been that bad. I mean, negative 0.1 WAR, but again, he plays every position. He's just not that bad of a player. I don't really want to get rid of him. Sending Miranda down would be a little cold-hearted, but you know what? I want to take a look at Eddie Leonard. We don't need another first baseman. Oh, we'd have to waive and DFA him. I don't really want to do that, to be honest with you. Do we have like another guy who can catch? No, it's just Austin Wells and Morales. Is it really necessary? Nah, I think Jonathan Morales might actually be the best option we have at backup catcher. I just like the avoid case and the fielding combined. So no. All right, and then we're going to try to find another pitcher. Might just be a matter of who did we just send down? Yeah, we could just bring Mick Abel back up, but he struggled in AAA as well. We could just Braden Fisher can come back up. Ryan Presley. We're never gonna. I don't. Ryan Presley's not getting a look at any point. Huskar Yanoa is just always on my teams in OOTP. He's like literally always either in my bullpen or in AAA. Like I always have Huskar Yanoa. Let's give. Did we give Iwaki a shot before? He only had 11 innings. Let's do it again. Let's give him another try. Give him a bigger sample size. I kind of doubt it. He's got low velocity. Ground ball pitcher though with good control. Give up 13 runs. How bad was that Keishel injury? 3 days. Okay. Sometimes you get those really long day-to-day injuries where if you actually look, you're like, oh, that guy needs to be on the injured list. Speaking of the injured list, Quinn Priester. Well, I wasn't recording, and I was just like, just wondering who's gonna. Well, that you know what? This is the chance for Dustin May to maybe be in the rotation. What's Rocco Baldelli? Who is probably about to get fired. What does Rocco Baldelli think? Nah, Cam Schlittler is the right choice. Good movement and the 5-pitch mix as well. He's the right choice. Let's disable that. You can just take. Oh, okay, this is just stuff. Okay. I don't know why he's like getting his stuff screwed up on everything else. He needs changeup and cutter development. So we'll give him changeup and cutter. And how good is his slider and curveball? I don't want his slider and curveball to regress to a 45 necessarily. So we can just get a little more. All right, cool. That's good. And I would like, he's a starter. He does need stamina. Control's already kind of weak. I think this is actually set correctly, unfortunately. There's only so much we can do. I think if he just pitches well, he'll get a good development boost. There's only so much we can do. Hard worker, but a slow learner. That's interesting. Not much I can glean from that, but I like him in real life. He hasn't done that well in the game, and the most encouraging thing are his stats from last year, but it kind of seems like the second that we hit the simulation, he didn't do that well. Like, he's got good stats here in real life, and then the second that the simulation starts, he's down way in the low minors. Well, that's like, 39 innings. 3.43 ERA down in the low minors. In the high minors, he gets lit up, and he hasn't had a fun time in the major leagues either, so... we've got Steven Matz and Dustin May in the bullpen who can also slide into the rotation, but Cam Schlittler is going to get some starts. It is Schlittler, not Schittler. Everybody pronounces it Schittler when they see it first. I'm sure he had a tough time growing up with that. Braden Fisher is a major league level guy, and he's been good in the minors. So let's just bring him back up. Kind of lazy, but that'll be the move. He's making $4 million. He should be on the roster. And, I mean, I forgot Scott Barlow existed, but he can come off the injured list. We'll just put him on a rehab assignment and deal with it in the offseason. Wait, Gabriel Gonzalez, AA. We are on a pretty rough losing streak right now. There, we finally get a win. We're not going to be able to avoid 100 losses. We're going to blow past 100 losses. We're 46 and 95 right now. It's not looking good. We're going to more likely be looking to avoid 110 losses, not 100. The A's have way too much offense. I don't know how we're going to be able to handle that. Oh, we won the first 2 games. Looks like I don't know ball. Luke Keishel, there. His day-to-day injury turns into long-term elbow tendonitis, and he's going on the injured list. So we're pretty much open to what we can do here. Miguel Amaya is hitting 400 in AAA. So you know what? It actually might be dumb to to not bring him back up. Ronnie Mauricio's doing really well. He's still happy, though, so I don't know. I think, yes, Nixon Garcia is pretty much ready. It's another outfielder, though. But, man, 23. He's a hitter. Like, he's going to hit. We've got 2 dudes in the outfield right now hitting 190 and 199, and we also just lost a center fielder. So, yeah, I'm going to bring up Yes Nixon Garcia. The fans would be clamoring for it in real life, so let's just do it. It's September 16th. He's going to get a tiny little sample size. If he hits 0-15, who does it even hurt? What do we even lose from that? The only downside is we have to waive and DFA somebody, but Diego Cartaya will get taken. I don't know if there's anybody that I am actually comfortable on the 40-man. Waiving and DFA. Christian Robinson is not that good. Let's be real. Christian Robinson's not that good. We got him in a trade, but he's not. He doesn't have the bat. I don't think he's going to be a major leaguer. He's a good fielder, but Yosnixon Garcia is a guy I want on the major league roster right now. So let's do that. And he is going to hit 5th. Nice. He's a righty. Chang hitting 2nd against lefties is kind of nuts. I don't know why. Oh, that's Isaac Collins. Chang. Okay, Chang is happier. Yeah, I don't want Chang hitting 2nd. He's not really a good enough hitter to hit 2nd. Let's put Garcia 2nd. I'm just taking control of this lineup. I want to see my guys. Just Nixon Garcia is hitting 1,000. He goes 5 for 5 in his major league debut. Ayawagi is getting lit up, so we'll just send him back down. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. Injured list. Priester, come back. Whoops. We are about to lose our 100th game. When Priester wants to help the community. I don't care. You want to help the community? What are you, a hippie? Get out of my office. What's going on? DFA? Hold up. Oh, Christian Robinson. Back in AA. There's our 100th loss to Detroit. Dylan Lesko goes to the injured list. 5 ERA. But you know what? If his development doesn't completely tank, we can put him in AAA and maybe he can actually develop next year instead of just getting annihilated. I like that St. Paul won the. We have like ridiculously terrible starters ERA, but we won the entire West Division of the International League. That's hilarious. So we lost a pitcher. Let's bring Robert Gasser back up. Why not? And we actually managed to beat Detroit and not get swept. So you know what? Our record, I mean, any 100 loss season isn't great, but our record might not be that abhorrent to look at. We're not 2024 White Sox level bad, that's for certain. Luke Keeschel up at 14 home runs. That kind of surprises me. Yes, Nixon Garcia is still hitting 370. He's put 4 over the fence. Wow, Chang wins Rookie of the Month. How about that? Look at this. Chang hitting 321 with 5 home runs. How about it? Let's see. Show me the spray chart. Look at the bombs. Pulling some homers. Even got one of the opposite field. Batting stats, 321, 391. How many walks? 9 walks. This is a decent sample size, man. He's been good. How about Sung-Chae Chang? Might need a better number than 71 out there. Brett Beatty struggled to a 264 on pace. Abimelech Ortiz, I'm about done with if he's going to hit like this. Like the 63 OPS plus, we can just send you down to the minors and Alan Roden can get some more playing time. We can send up a pitcher. I'm done. Honestly, he's just not doing it. Oh, that 0 for 5 yesterday. We've got how many games left? 4. Let's just give some other guy. Let's give Emmanuel Rodriguez. Has he made his major league debut yet? He has. Let's just give him some more time. So that we can just have him on the roster, because I hope he's going to start on the roster next year. It'd be great to have. I mean, look at this. Think about that outfield, man. Nixon Garcia, Manuel Rodriguez, and Nixon Garcia, Manuel Rodriguez, and Walker Jenkins next year. Imagine starting the season with that. Not too bad of a thought. Did they start him? They do. Well, he's still got that 162 down there. There, Austin Wells /line looking a little better. That's his overall season stats, though. He's down at 204 for us. 7 home runs, though. He has more home runs for us than for the Yankees this year. Look at Matt Wallner. He's just brutal all year. Well, you know what? We did change his development, so maybe changing the avoid Ks and the power on his development helped a lot because it seems like his stats took a jump. He was at like 140, 130, 160 all year, and now he's up at 203, 322, and he's got a positive OPS plus. It's like some things like that, man. If you hit enough home runs, if you have enough power, like OPS plus can be a really friendly stat to you. Like he's been the bane of my existence as the manager of this team this year. He's been unproductive. He's been in the middle of the lineup. He's got 37 RBI. I mean, that says enough. 329 plate appearances and only 14 home runs and 15 doubles, by the way, for a guy who's supposed to be supplying power. He's only scored 41 runs, which that's not that important of a stat, but I mean, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? Like, he's just not really an offensively productive player, man. But somehow he ends up with a 107 OPS plus. Like, people can get mad about that. OPS plus can be a cool stat sometimes, and it's very useful as a general catch-all stat for offense. And I get that, but it really just like in that way, it's a stat that I don't like. It can puff up a really unproductive power hitter, and that can be really frustrating, especially when he strikes out a lot, like Matt Wallner here. But let's go month by month. Batting splits. I thought I saw months. Here we go. September. Yeah, he hit 231 with a 406 on base in September. He hit 225 in August. So not too bad. He had a brutal July. He hit 111 in July, 26 OPS plus in July, man. Struck out 32 times in 90 at-bats. Beat the Phillies. Really? Whatever. We can just... I think the season's over, so we can bring Scott Barlow up, and it won't matter. We can have 29 players in the roster, and nobody will care. He had a 16 ERA in Double A. He's about to be a free agent. Let's just release him. Screw it. Doesn't matter. We're not going to keep him. And with that, the regular season is over. So I'll tell you what. We'll look at the league leaders, and we'll look at stats for our guys, and then we're going to head out and do the playoffs to start episode 4, because this has been a really long one. But we're showing the league leaders on the side right here, but you can look at the full standings as well. The Orioles, pretty rough season, 94 losses. Their 2026 not nearly as successful as when we rebuilt them, goes without saying. Mariners win the West, only team above 500 in the West. They clear everybody out. Their 14-game lead on the Astros. Tigers win the Central, similar large margin, 10 games. To battle in the East, though, between the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays, who are ascendant this year. Suarez, Rasmussen, Rodillo. They have Devin Williams on a 1.98 ERA. That's very interesting. How did they get him? I guess they just signed him out of free agency. I guess there must be something. Maybe that Yankee contract isn't that long. Maybe it's only 2 years. Junior Caminero is a superstar. That's true in real life, though, but he has a monster season. Jazz Chisholm, actually, look at this. A 3-way tie in the RBI lead in the AL. That's funny. Jazz Chisholm had a crazy season, though, but Chisholm 113, Schwarber 113, Suarez 113. Chandler Simpson steals 50 bases. Judge with a 950 OPS. And look at that. Byron Buxton leaves the league in WAR. The one season of his career he doesn't get injured is after when we trade him. But congrats to Byron Buxton. I don't know how much good that would have done us. And look, I mean the basic batting ratings. I'm not crying, but he had a monster season, and we gave them still. If he's gonna have those kind of numbers, that's a very good deal. But the Rangers still didn't make the playoffs, so big deal. Chris Bubich, great year for the Yankees. Tariq Skubal still probably going to win the Cy Young, or rather, yeah, probably second in strikeouts as well. 276. Garrett Crochet leads the league. Matt Brash leads the league in saves. Trey Skubal leads the league in player WAR. Let's go to a better screen to see all this stuff. Here we go. Here we go. League Scope American League. Beautiful. Here's a better look at your league leaders. Vlad Guerrero and Evan Carter, I believe his first name is. Yes, of course, Evan Carter. Vlad Guerrero and Evan Carter, only 2 guys in the American League over 400. In terms of on-base percentage, Brent Rooker leads the league in at-bats. Nobody over 200 hits. Jarren Duran leads the league in triples. Anthony leads the league in doubles. Couple productive Red Sox. Nick Kurtz leads the league in total bases. Wyatt Langford strikes out 202 times. Do we have? We don't have anybody on the list. I haven't seen a single one of our players on any of these lists, have we? Nope. Well, that's what happens when you've got a lot of player turnover. Isaac Collins. Hey, listen, if we're gonna lead somewhere, Isaac Collins is on the walk list. In 7th place, it looks like the only list we're on. And let's just take a look at the National League as well. Ohtani with 53 home runs, 135 RBI. I wonder who's going to win the MVP. I wonder who's going to win the MVP. Only hit 261. Terrible. Retire. James Wood almost at a 400. James Wood with a 960. Elliot De La Cruz hits 28 doubles. Estuary Ruiz hits 12 triples. Ohtani leads in total bases. Leads in strikeouts, though, as well. Some swing and miss in the old game there for Ohtani, but Ohtani's going to cruise to an MVP in the National League again. That's something that Ohtani's definitely going to do. Is that, the all-time leader in MVPs is Barry Bonds with 7. And I believe it's like, there's a bunch of players that have 3. And Ohtani is currently one of them, but he's going to break through that this year probably. So, yeah, this year he's probably going to become second on the all-time list and first if you don't include steroids. Because let's be honest about Barry Bonds there. He won, I think, 4 MVPs in a row in the early 2000s when he was definitely on steroids. So he was at 3, and then he won those extra 4, clearly juicing. So if and when Ohtani wins this year, he'll be second place on the list. And honestly, in my mind, he'll be the first player to ever win 4 MVPs in a fair way. I was like, who is this? It has Mick Abel on the shutout list because there aren't enough players who threw shutouts to be on the shutout list. There were only 4 shutouts in the league this year. Because it has to be a complete game, obviously. Hunter Brown threw 3 complete games, but I guess they weren't shutouts. It's going to be a tougher Cy Young race. I'm seeing Tariq Skubal a lot, though. I think Tariq Skubal probably would be the guy. Don't know how many wins he had. Not that wins matter in pitching. Robert Gasser there, 6th on the losses table. That's really the only stat we would be present in, isn't it? Logan Webb with a 1.79 earned run average. Absolutely untouchable, man. 179. 0.91 whip, 0.6 homer 9, 7.5 WAR. Logan Webb just a dominant season. His FIP was 2.53, so I guess he got a little lucky. What is BRA 9? What does that mean? Surmised it's base runners allowed per 9. If that's the case, 8.5 is nuts. Yeah, that's under a base runner per inning. That's just insane. 6.2 hits per 9. He was just phenomenal. And only at 9.5 Ks per 9. The Giants must have had a pretty sick defense behind him. Yeah, they're a really good defensive team. Man, 1.7. How many games did he start? He actually just had a full season of starts, 33. That's unreal. Packy Naughton. They had a pretty great pitching rotation and didn't make the playoffs. They didn't struggle that much on offense, but they did have an underwhelming offense. Shouldn't have been bad enough for them to miss the playoffs, but ultimately, yeah, they did. By 6 games, even. The Mets win the East. The Cubs win the Central. The Dodgers win the West. Just realized I didn't go over the NL. But let's just go over who made the playoffs now. So the Yankees get the top seed. Yeah, by 2 games, they're the top seed in the East. So it's Rays, Blue Jays in the wild card for the right to play the Yankees. So you got a little divisional thing here in the AL East. And then an AL Central matchup in the wild card for the right to play the 2 seed Seattle Mariners, who finished at 91 and 71. That's a pretty bad record to be the 2 seed. But okay. I mean, 91 and 71 obviously not a bad record, but it's a bad record for a 2 seed, man. It's not a great record for the 2 seed. You think a 2 seed be like I've seen the 2 seed be a 100 win team before. The Yankees have been a 2 seed as a 100 win team before, I'm sure of it. See, the Mets get the top seed, so New York sharing the top seeds this year. 98 wins. The Mets would have home field advantage in the World Series. Oops. Padres, Phillies, and then Brewers, Cubs. Man, Brewers, Cubs to play the Dodgers. That's a classic right there. But Phillies, Padres is going to be a fun series too. These are just going to be a this is going to be a fun playoffs. No, we aren't going to have a damn thing to do with it though. Let's check out our stats. Let's see, there got to be a better place to do this. Reports and info, team statistics. That's not team statistics. Well, here's all of our rankings. So here's all our rankings. Obviously finished dead last in the league. 30 and 51 at home, 28-53 on the road. It's not much better. We actually did okay on extra inning games. We were a little better against lefties than righties. Our worst months, June and July, we went a combined 10 and that's 10 and 42. Yep, that's where Rocco Baldelli got fired right there. 10 and 42. 10 and 41. 22 plus 19 is 41. Yeah. So 10 and 41. 10 and 18 August, and our only winning month was September. So we got better after the trade deadline, like I said. 14 and 12 September is not too bad. We ended up not being dead last. I remember for a lot of the year we were last in most of the hitting categories. We ended up not being dead last in everything. But still pretty dreadful. 9th in on base percentage is okay, I guess, for being as bad of a team as we were. 13th in home runs. We got to fix that. 4th in strikeouts. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that means we struck out the 4th most, which would not be a good thing. We didn't even steal that many bases. That's another thing I want to work on. And over here, it's just shameful. Bad pitching rotation. That's my cutting edge analysis of the situation. Bad. Dead last in literally every category somehow, except for wins above replacement, which doesn't make any sense really. Somebody managed to give up more home runs than us. I did have some decent control pitchers, but look what it got me. It got us hit around effectively. 3rd in strikeouts. Again, I like throwing strikes, clearly. But yeah, all the good it did us. And part of the reason is definitely because we had absolutely terrible defense. And again, another thing we need to work on. But we're going to have better outfield defense next year. We're going to have a better outfield next year. We know that already. Brooks Lee is an okay defender. Austin Wells is all right. A really good defensive first baseman. Finding a really good first baseman here could be a really central part of this rebuild, to be honest with you. Because we need somebody to provide that solid defensive foundation to back up the pitching so that we can really start to bring this team together in the future. But let's look at the individual player stats finally, and then that'll be it for the episode. Batting stats 1. Let's take a look by position. Jonathan Morales struggles, 62 games, 195. Only slugging 232. So, we brought him in for the avoid case and the contact. You can get something decent out of a guy with 40 power, but I guess the 40 power, 40 gap power, he just doesn't hit the ball far enough. And that's certainly what it looks like. Hitting to 11 double plays, too. Just not good. It's not good. Austin Wells comparatively was okay. 181 isolated power is definitely not awful compared to what we got out of Morales. 699 OPS, 96 OPS plus, but a 1.2 wins above replacement. He's definitely going to get another chance next year, especially still being 27, being a catcher. Trevor Larnach finished the season hot, but he's honestly pretty mid. 72 RBI is okay for where he was in the lineup, so clearly he had an ability to hit with runners on base a little bit. But yeah, just kind of a mediocre player, to be honest with you, this year. Miranda did all right off the bench. 14 RBIs, pretty good. 256, 323, 415 slash line. So I might even keep him on the bench at the start of next year. He's got a good glove as well. We're trying to improve first base though. So if I have it my way, we're gonna have a much better first baseman than Larnach or Miranda in the future. Chang was really impressive. Won Rookie of the Month. Like I said, 5 home runs, 12 RBI. Ended up with 10 walks to 17 strikeouts. Only grounded into 1 double play. 292, 364, 494 slugging, 202 isolated power. So Sung-Chae Chang earned himself a spot on this team next year. I don't know where that extra power came from, but look, he's got a little development boost. His basic ratings certainly look better than they did before, which is very encouraging. How did Austin Martin do? I feel like Austin Martin is one of the more generic players in the team, but look at that slash line. In 429 plate appearances, 234, 351. Only a 309 slug, but 351 OBP. It's only good for a 660 OPS. It's another problem with OPS as a stat. I'm really impressed with that on base percentage out of Austin Martin. It shows that he puts together a productive at bat and isn't easy in the box. Like, he's not easy to face as a pitcher, but he's like, I'd so much rather face in a lot of situations. Like, if I need a strikeout, if it's bases loaded and one out, like as a pitcher, you're kind of excited to try to get that strikeout on a guy like Wallner, where you know that Austin Martin is going to challenge you. There's a lot of situations where you would want an Austin Martin up over a Matt Wallner, just from pure, baseball strategy perspective. But just judging from the OPS plus stat, it looks like Austin Martin is a useless player and Matt Wallner is an above average player, when I would describe it as being a lot closer to the opposite. Matt Wallner frustrated me all year, and Austin Martin, yeah, I didn't notice him, but I come back here at the end of the year, I look at his stats, I'm like, this guy isn't that bad. I don't expect power out of him, to be fair. Brett Beatty, I'm not that impressed by. He hit 21 home runs, and I guess that's kind of why he's here, to provide that power. He had a decent September, I think. Let's see. We changed his development strategy. And let's see if it paid any dividends, if he improved in that last month of the season. Can I see basic batting stats? Thank you. No, he had a pretty brutal September. The only good month he had was August. So I'm definitely in between on Brett Beatty. I think you could definitely see Brett Beatty start the season in the minor leagues or just basically turn into a AAA player for us. Isaac Collins walked a lot. We know that. Played 150 games. Mr. Reliable. Don't like the only 14 home runs. I'd like a little more power. Don't like the 227. Don't like the 141 strikeouts. 94 OPS plus. There's a lot that I'm disliking right now about Isaac Collins' game, but I like the 19 steals. Natural leader, knows the game inside and out, gets along with everybody. If he can put up more of a batting average like what he did with Milwaukee last year, then he's a great player. He needs defensive development. His running is one of his strengths, so I don't necessarily want to take too much out of his running. But we could definitely do that and bring a little power back, I think. He's already got a good eye, so I want the eye basically right even. I'd rather have a void case from him than gap power. Not that gap power isn't important. But I really want him to hit for average, because I feel like if he hits 240, his on-base percentage could be like, a 350, and then he's a really valuable player. It's really just a matter of getting him up from like 227 to 240, and then you've got a really valuable switch-hitting infielder. Back to the stats. Peyton Eales, the short king, only hit 211. 88 isolated power. Yeah, not fantastic. Stole 11 bases. It's kind of his job, be a pinch runner. But you know what? With that in mind, if that's going to be his job, I'm going to actually not even prevent the AI from adjusting his player strategy. I think he needs to have better defense and running, because that looks like what his role on the team is going to be. I don't necessarily know if there's anybody that I'm itching to make a backup infielder over him, though, even. He's still got... I still think he can put together a good offensive season. I kind of believe in giving him another chance, but that's really just a matter of who we end up getting that backup infield spot here in the off season. Brooks Lee, really interested in this one, man. If we could just get his on-base percentage up, he'd be fantastic. 102 OPS plus, 19 home runs. It's a pretty good season for a young catcher still adjusting to the league and still growing as well, because he's obviously a player who still needs to develop. And those just a really interesting basic stats here. A lot of yellow, a lot more yellow than you would want. But that avoid case, I guess, keeping his head above the water. The 260 batting average, 251. He really just needs to take more walks. And I mean, that's money right there. If he took more walks, man, you might have a franchise shortstop there. There's Nixon Garcia. I mean, look. Look, I mean, he's good. He is definitely good. 16 games, 319, 365, 652, 333 isolated power. I know that's good for over 1,000 OPS and a 184 OPS plus. More. 5 home runs, 10 RBI. Alan Roden, he was doing good at the start. ends up, what was his OPS? It's only 72. Yeah, he was okay at the start. Lefty who doesn't strike out much. Only had 5 strikeouts and 26 at bats. That's actually not that good. Hit a home run. Not much I can glean from that. Emmanuel Rodriguez struggled all year, and Matt Wallner we've talked about at length. Just a frustrating player. 104 strikeouts and 337 plate appearances, 283 at bats. Only 44 walks. He's just like, only 44 walks is really what bothers me. Like, he needs to walk more. I still so generous with the OBP, the 198 to 318. But he needs to walk more, man. There was a lot of movement on the pitching staff, so you can only tell so much. Only a few guys lasted the whole season. Zebby Matthews was definitely one of them, made 27 starts to the tune of a 5.22 ERA. They hit 298 off him. Pretty bad BABIP, pretty bad whip though. Gave up a lot of home runs. Didn't walk many though. That's what he's supposed to do. It's what I like about him. He doesn't walk many. 9.3 strikeouts per 9 and a FIP of only 3.84. See, this is what I'm talking about with Zebby Matthews. He throws strikes and he's got good velocity. Got a little unlucky this year. Gave up the long ball like we thought he would. So he definitely got a little unlucky there with ERA, and I wouldn't be surprised actually to see him back. I would just like him as the number 5 starter. Like I said at the start of this year, Zebby Matthews at this point he should still be a number 5 starter. I want David Festa in the bullpen. I want to bring in a reliever. I want to bring in a starter. I want to bring in a starter this offseason. So that we can push Zebby Matthews at least down to the 5, maybe even into the bullpen. I don't know. But we need to improve the rotation, and we need to improve first base. Those are two big primary concerns here coming into this offseason. Quinn Priester, 30 games, made 29 starts, went 7-13. Remember, he was on the league leaders in losses. Robert Gasser also had 13 losses in a much smaller sample size. We'll get to him. He had probably the toughest year of anybody on this staff. 4.22 ERA, Priester. 257 average against isn't bad compared to some of the guys that I'm seeing here. But he got a little lucky with a 289 BABIP comparatively, 137 whip. And also, 3.4 walks is pretty much average. So kind of an average season here from Quinn Priester. Not much I can glean from that. Kumar Rocker actually had a good year, 3.86 ERA. Struck out 133. Yeah, so Kumar Rocker was actually a pretty solid positive here. Got a little lucky, actually, with his FIP, which is funny. 1.9 was... And see, look, Zebby Matthews with 2.1 WAR. Zebby Matthews led our pitching staff in wins above replacement. How about that? A 5.22 ERA looked like one of the worst pitchers on the team when you do a quick look here at the stat board on the main page. But nah, he led the whole rotation in WAR, so he's definitely going to be back, man. Like... You can be a Zebby Matthews hater all you want, but I still believe. I still believe compared to how much I believe in some of these other pitchers, especially. Will Warren had a good year with the Yankees and a bad year with us. 5.54 ERA. We had him as our ace. 10 K9 though still, but walking a lot of guys, 4 per inning. Gives up the long ball. Just gives up a lot of hits as well. And I do believe that, yeah, quite a few walks, 4.5. He just walks too many, and right now it seems to be giving up hard contact. And just a quick look at all the, at least the bullpen guys that are left. Where are the ERAs? Brian Baker had a rough year with a 6.19. Robert Gasser, as you were saying, with a 7.44 ERA. 319 batting average against a 386 BABIP. So, I mean, yeah, you got a 7 ERA. Obviously, he got unlucky, but a 172 whip is bad. Somehow a 0.2 wins above replacement. Somehow he managed to accumulate positive wins above replacement. Hunter Harvey got into 58 games, 3.72 ERA. Not bad. Maybe accumulating a little trade value. 1 win above replacement, positive ERA plus. Dustin May had a brutal year, and in the midst of it, clamored to be in our pitching rotation. They only hit 253 off him, but it doesn't matter. He still had a 144 whip. Gave up way too many home runs, 1.8 per 9. Walked too many. And Nick Mears, I don't even think I said his name all year. Not even 30 years old. I think he's the MVP of this bullpen this year. A 3.09 ERA, 195 batting average against. If you wanted big outs, man, I think it was actually Nick Mears. 9.8 strikeouts per 9 isn't exactly what you want for a lights out guy, but how is he not a lights out guy? He got people out. He prevented runs better than anybody else in this bullpen. 3.09 ERA. Connor Prelip, also a 3.55. Didn't do bad as a lefty, especially. And he had a terrible BABIP against. He had a 2.88 FIP, 3.94 BABIP, so he got very unlucky. Connor Prelup, 52 strikeouts, only 17 walks. You love to see it. Cam Schlittler had a pretty rough time. 43 strikeouts to 23 walks, much worse ratio. 5.85 earned run average. He got pretty lucky with the BABIP and still got lit up, so that tells you all you need to know. Negative WAR for Cam Schlittler so far. Did he get any starts, Cam Schlittler? He started 8 games. Josh Walker, who we brought up, actually did pretty well for himself. 3.28 FIP. Yeah, pretty good stuff from Josh Walker. 32 strikeouts out of the bullpen. And Braden Fisher, pretty mixed bag. I'm kind of interested. Let's see Braden Fisher by month. June, July. Yeah. Okay, so Braden Fisher came back from this injury in August, and then 2.54 and a 2.16 ERA. So nice little recovery there from Braden Fisher to save his season. I do remember he was up over 5, and he ends the season, up over 7, rather, in his ERA, like 7.5, 7.7 ERA or something. When we sent him down, he ends up at a 5.15 with a 3.62 wins above replacement. So, wins above replacement. No, he did not have 3.6 with 3.62 FIP. We are late in this video. 3.62 FIP. So there's some encouraging stuff in this bullpen if you look hard enough. I'm not low on Zebby Matthews. I think David Fest did good enough to keep a bullpen spot. Hunter Harvey was encouraging. Nick Mears is a nice find. Robert Gasser and Brian Baker got pretty much brutalized. Dustin May didn't cover himself in glory. And, there were a lot of guys who just had to filter and cycle out of the bullpen because they got completely shelled. But it's also a matter of improving the defense and finding more starting pitching depth. And that's what we're going to do in this next episode in the offseason. We're going to get to the playoffs, see who wins the World Series, see if we get a Subway Series. That looks likely, and we'll try to improve this team from the 100-loss shellacking that we took this year and come back stronger next year with a much better roster and definitely a new coaching staff. Rocco Baldelli has coached his last game for this team, managed his last game for this team. So hit that like and that subscribe. We'll be back with episode 4 soon. Peace.